Alright, I recognize that Kunal, Carly, Zayn, me, Tanya, Cecina, and Scott are present, as well as the two lovely advisors. Alright, so, first thing on the agenda. Scroll up a little bit, Kunal. Scroll up a little bit, scroll up. Yeah, there we go. Roll call, approval of the agenda. Agenda looks good, everyone. Any complaints? No?
Move to amend the agenda?
I was going to say.
Yeah, okay, move. There's a motion. Someone moved to amend, someone moved to amend the agenda.
Move to amend.
We need to get out by 7 o'clock.
Oh wait, do we change the time of engineer
That's
report?
amending the agenda.
Yep. Okay, so to amend the agenda, we're going to remove American Red Cross.
No. Who has moved to amend the
I
agenda?
moved.
Who seconded?
Second.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Don't need to.
Okay, all those in favor of amending the agenda, please raise your hand. 7. Wonderful.
Follow the democratic process.
Who's taking minutes?
Yes.
I know, right?
Don't worry, it'll be done by next week.
Okay.
Yeah. Legislation draft by Saturday.
That means they have to have ability for training on Monday then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how are you amending the agenda?
Alright, to amend the agenda, I would like to strike American Red Cross Club off from our agenda. As an explanation, they have not been cleared by ECS yet, so they cannot come to us to request for funds yet. Alright, so they'll be struck off the agenda. You know, if you will?
Yes. I already emailed them, and they've already emailed back, and they're like, what do you need?
Let's do this.
So I'm like,
Yep.
What do you mean?
This is like the famous.
When's our best? Half of that big.
Half our agenda's gone.
Half our agenda.
so it's
All
like
right.
2 weeks.
Hold on,
Oh,
was that
we need to do, like,
there was a second one, yeah?
Yep, and the second amendment is that we'd like to move Engineers Without Borders to 7:30. Yep.
Second.
Second. Okay.
Seriously?
We'll move them some
No,
earlier.
you just have to change the time.
Yeah, you just need to change the time.
Oh, big fans.
Question,
Yes.
would it be easier just to ask LGBT to come in at 7:30 and then leave Engineers Without Borders where they are?
I mean,
You're
certainly.
smart. Instead of asking both of them to change their time?
Yeah.
Let me check. I think that's okay.
All right. Control Z, Kunal. Control Z more. Thank you. All right.
Gotcha.
And then we'll move LGBTQ to 7:30. All right.
So I'll email them.
Yeah, were they available at that time?
Yes, they are. They picked every single time.
Is Paxa coming in? Because then I could just fill up that slot. No?
Yes, they don't have a contract, Paxa, so I haven't asked them to come in, but the one thing we needed was the contract from the performer for like the $300 person, and they don't have that yet, so, sorry.
Y'all said 7:30.
Yes,
Yep.
7:30.
All right.
So, you have to remove the general consent of Paxa?
Yes.
I moved to do that.
No, we just table it.
Just move to
we
a
just
table.
table it.
Well, do you have to move to table it?
I think
Yes.
so. Yeah.
Well, we have
Just move the table it once we get to it. Right. And then approval of the minutes. Tanya and I will go through that this weekend to make sure everything actually is up in order. I apologize for not having a secretary yet. The interviews are occurring this Wednesday. I have 2 promising candidates, and one of them will be confirmed by next Tuesday. I'm ready to serve.
The other thing, are we seeing Biocom?
Weird. Biocom's
It's
not
still
on
on
here.
the agenda.
Are they?
No, not on this one. I lied. Ignore me.
Those are going
This
through
one
the
was
email,
for the
right?
other after I sent it.
Yeah. But everything else, I think it's okay. And I actually think we can move on to meeting prep right now.
Did we? There was a vote for all the changes, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. No, unanimously passed.
Were they, Daniel?
Well,
Were they?
yeah.
I don't believe they were.
Changes were not unanimously
They
passed.
were not, you moved to amend the agenda,
Okay.
but your amendments were not voted on.
No. Does everyone approve the agenda in its current iteration? Please raise your hands. 7.
Best thing to
Is that fine?
No.
No?
You move to approve the amendments to the agenda.
I
Someone
move
seconds you.
to
then you
approve
vote.
the amendments in the agenda.
Second.
All right. All those 4, please raise your hands. 7-4, 0 against.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on.
You should appreciate the process.
I do indeed. It tells me I have to go move things again. But alright, so for reading preparation, we'll just go through the list. Of course, Paxa, they do not have the contract yet, according to Carly, so we will not see them today. Carly can send them an email asking what they'd like to do. I'd really appreciate that. And if they'd like for us to proceed without the contract, we're able to do that as well. If that's what they want to do. So we can present that option to them. Right.
When's their event?
It's in mid-November.
So they have
a little bit of space.
But, right. So Pre-Dental Society, everyone looked through the requests correct. Everyone knows what they're requesting for. I think it's around $1,100 worth of tickets.
fees. Oh yeah.
Just tickets.
41
For 41 people to $1,025. I think we'll just go run through the questions, but I don't see any large issues here.
Can we first figure out who's doing what?
What do you mean?
Oh yeah, just asking what questions.
Oh, right. Who would like Pre-Dental?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Let's go, Carly.
Okay. Who would like Cyber Defense?
Sure, I'll do it.
Prevention Cyber Defense. Honors College Council.
I'll do it.
Socina.
Oh.
Ladies first, come on. Alright, what do you want? LGBTQ or Engineers Without Borders?
I can do the Engineers Without Borders.
Okay. And I'll take. Scott, you want LGBTQ? LGBTQ, yeah. Alright, Scott's got LGBTQ.
Student union. Just to be sure that we give them the right.
LSU, you can just stay LSU.
What?
That's what they go by.
That's what they go by.
Really?
Okay.
LSU, LGBTQ Student Union.
Oh.
It's an acronym within an acronym, guys.
I was gonna say, there's a lot of.
Words.
Oh, letters. Alphabet
Let's see.
soup.
Next thing you know, they're doing triple contraction.
Right.
And Teddy's gonna sign that.
LSU.
Okay. LSU. Alright, so for this one, of course, I will do the thing like, okay, you should have received questions thing, the whole spiel, and I'll direct it to whoever's asking the questions. You'll begin the introductions and we'll move clockwise. Okay?
And so clarification.
Okay, now we have Pre-Dental. Do we have any issues with Pre-Dental Society at the moment? Some glaring things you guys want to bring up in debate? If not, we'll move on in discussion. Yeah. Cyber defense. Is there? Yeah, just open up all the way back down. Cyber defense. All right. So, do we have any discussion points on cyber defense?
Food.
Food. Yes, indeed.
Just food costs.
Yeah. So, what are you guys feeling for food?
What's the purpose of it? And then per head.
Okay. I want the per head right now. What's the per head we want to run with, or are we going to use per head?
What have we done so far? What's the highest we've done so far?
$10 head.
That was 12.
No.
That's
Oh.
not
Yeah, we had $12 last year. Hamamatsu's on his 10 for. No, actually it hasn't even passed yet. Paxa was $10 and it hasn't even passed.
Oh, so we've done like $4.
I think we
Yes,
just
I-
what do we make
want
small
to pay.
meal at Trigger?
You know, True Race is $8 with a little bit of
It
inflation
depends on
into
the
it.
meal
Cost of
hour.
living, we could like that.
Because like a dinner swipes like 11 or something.
It's just like.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So what's the what's the difference
What?
between lunch and dinner? What about that?
Huh?
Math.
Split the difference.
What's the difference?
So the peapod items are for breakfast, and the lunch, or yeah, it's like brunch, and the peapod items are for sorry. Hello.
Oh, well.
It's coffee.
Right. So one of the things that was brought up in the pre-meeting that we have, well, Candace, Tori, Tanya, and Charlie, is that what if we wanted to split up our food by meal period? So like, okay, for each meal period you get this much, theoretically. Personally, I'm against that, as it encourages organizations to like, oh, well, technically our event starts at the beginning of this meal period and then ends at the very last hour of the meal period, so you should get, or very beginning of the next meal period, so you should give us more food. I think we should just roll off a block ahead of what we can start blocking out of what we start to use before the event.
I know, but we're gonna win because that theme is already taken by OIA, and we don't
I think
have
that's
a
a
theme, and so
consideration.
that's really original.
And there are actual hours that only requires one meal when it's over.
Yeah, and then like spaces.
Did we ever find a
Duration
sign?
not being set up correctly.
What's up?
We don't have the signs that
do we tell them? We'll just remind them.
FBI's watching. Okay. And our assigned FBI agent. And no, so that's something we could do. We could do, but the way that I want to handle food is that, like, so this one I think we've reached a point where we want to set a max. All the previous food requests that we've seen have been of the amount that all of us were comfortable funding. So the question now is, how much of food do we wish to fund? And what is the procedure at which we will be funding food? Last year we utilized a $12 per UMBC head. In my personal opinion, that amount was a bit excessive. I'd like to reduce that down to a bit more of a reasonable level. Of course, then we can move away from a per head type style of determination, if anyone has any ideas on how they'd like to do the food. But I propose we just stick with the old stuff, even though it's old stuff.
What number do you think?
I was feeling, between 8 and 10 range. It's just like, where do you guys want to go with that?
Clarification. What? I don't know if this is easily accessible. I think it is. Maybe. Do we know how much we spent totally on food?
Last year?
Past fiscal year.
Yeah,
That's
thanks,
good.
Chloe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would agree. Like, I think 10 is reasonable. I think again, you have to contextualize it with like purpose, like
Yeah.
how long is the event going on, like what time of day.
I think this is setting a max. This is not something that we have to focus on every single time. But I think a max of $10 a head is a reasonable amount. And if we deem it necessary to reduce the amount of food utilized, we're perfectly within our rights to do so. But would everyone be comfortable with a $10 max at the current moment? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then from this one, of course, we'll discuss the actual requests. Every request is different, and how much food we'll choose to allocate is variable. Okay.
So you want to know total food for the year? $51,000, almost $52,000.
And that the data sheet's missing, I think, like 5 or 6 additional events. So plus or minus 52,000, plus 52,000. Yeah.
Food.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it looks like that's one of your biggest expenditures outside. I mean, it's commons fees, and then equipment, and then food.
Yeah.
For food, is it everybody, like the total amount of their requests, or the amount of UMBC students in their requests?
I'd go by UBC because we don't fund. We're theoretically not supposed to be. I have an issue with funding outside people's food. Of course, their ability to monitor that is very difficult, but we'll give them the benefit of the doubt and just say within the margin of errors.
Okay, so they had like I think 100 people, and 30 of them were non-UMBC students. So
Yep.
we fund
A maximum of 700.
Okay.
Yep. With our current ideologies. Yep. Tanya?
Yeah, I was thinking about this because, like, obviously it's only that much per UMBC student, but it still feeds more people than that. But, so at that rate, it's also, like, the UMBC student is getting, like, less than that if that's what they pay or will be approved. I don't have a solution.
It's one of those, again, it's like we just have to work one. Like, unless we're willing to massively expand the scope of the finance board and hire people to go to these events, ask for red cards every single time you wanted food, we are unable to enforce that. And because of budgetary, I mean, Tanya, you want to draft a proposal for a police force and finance board to go monitor student organizations?
We can just tell the org and not police themselves, knowing that that's the only food they're getting finance for.
No, that would not.
No.
It will not go over
They
well
won't do that.
either.
I think it's just like an over, like,
It's an overreach of the board to be
Well, yeah, but-
actually going into these events and.
No, we don't have to enforce it. We can just say, hey, we're only going to fund students, so don't
Yeah.
give food to people who aren't students.
I don't think, no, that's
No.
not, no, that's
They,
not.
I mean, it's more so if they're gonna order the same amount, we're only paying for this much of it, they have to get the other part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're allowed to give the food, but this portion of it will be covering our cover of UMBC people.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to say in that way.
Okay, got it.
Not articulated.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we?
Okay. But of course, I think we're good to move on from this request.
Yes.
Okay. Could you open Honors College Council? Honors College Council has a charity gala. So Honors Council is a limited funding organization. I'll give you my personal thoughts on this one. For limited funding organizations like this, I don't feel like the student dollar is well used in assisting them in helping them reach their philanthropic goals. I think we can offer them the bare amount of support that we can, and even then, I think it's strenuous. I think that theoretically, let's just say a Greek organization were to enter the room and request the same type of event, I think that we'd have a lot more scrutiny. But just because this is the Honors College Council, we're a bit more lax, and I don't think that should be the case. We should be holding all limited funding organizations to the same standard. And personally, I would like to offer them, as this event is open to the public. Even then, it's just like we're right on that thing. Why are we using the student dollar to assist limited funding organizations, which would theoretically have their own funding sources, to reaching their fundraising goals? Yeah, even if it is for charity.
So do you want to find out a percentage?
I would think that we'd either offer them the bare minimum, or we would not offer support.
What's the bare minimum?
Bare minimum would just be common fees. Yep.
Would bare minimum include or exclude like marketing?
Bare minimum, if we're trying to make sure it's open, then we'd include marketing. Yeah, but
So we include marketing.
yeah, but
We can restrict the food and decorations. I agree with that.
yeah, because technically speaking, and this would set a precedent of which for philanthropic, I'll get the word eventually. Philanthropic events from limited funding organizations, the Finance Board will offer minimal support.
Well, I mean, it's still support.
Yeah, it's still support.
I would just say support,
Yeah.
but in like certain areas. Like, I feel like a good use is setup fees. Like, those can be also
Only offer set up fees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, just like I mean, technically to have an event, you don't need food. You don't
Yeah.
need decorations. But
Yeah.
I think that at least offering our support in terms of general things that the Finance Board usually funds for their events to be successful and to reach their goals as well. I mean, they still are organizations. I don't think we should categorize them as expansions of departments or anything like that. Are student organizations still, so. But yeah, I would just. I mean, I agree with you too. I would think that we should still stick with setup fees and things.
Do you want to work out the totals right now, or do you want to wait till what they have to say?
We'll wait for what they have to say. For me, it's the big thing is that I don't want to set a double standard. It's just I know, personally speaking, I hold Greek life on campus to a significantly higher bar than I think when I first saw this request. It's just if we put in the idea that, okay, we're willing to fund the commons fees for set up for your philanthropy events.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we're trying to raise money, yada, 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 for some charity event. Please help us do that. But why is it within our parameters to be doing this? It's just these organizations have their independent budgets, in theory. They limit their attendance. These organizations, Tanya?
So how would it be different for you if a organization that was not limited funding was throwing the same event or any other philanthropic event?
Yeah, I think it's different though because they're not limited funded. Because they do not have separate budgets for them to dip into if they wanted to pursue these type of goals.
Okay, I'm just trying to clarify. So the
No, I
or
think
the
it-
differentiation.
And I think the limited funding part goes less to about whether or not they have budgets and more to about whether or not they restrict their membership, right? The honors college. I mean, you talked about the honors college. What is it called?
Honors College Council.
Honors College Council's mission. What's their primary purpose?
Is to promote the Honors College
For who?
for Honors College students. Yeah.
why should we?
It's not fundraising technically, this
Oh.
is charity.
Charity.
It's charity is different. Fundraising goes within the organization again. Charity is just donated away.
Like the same thing, we're helping other people raise money by giving them our money. So it's kind of just, we're basically giving the charity the money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So see
Yeah,
that?
I'm.
So I don't think we should fund fundraising events. It doesn't matter that they're funding me
Charity events.
from charity events. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Christina?
I agree with what you were saying. I think I would wanna like give them the minimum only because like you were saying, they do have their own funds that they can like tap into. And I feel like if, like you said, if you do the same thing for like the youth organization, then we're gonna have to do the same for that because it's the same.
Yeah,
It's the
kind of
same
right.
thought. Yeah.
Tanya? Tanya's abstaining.
Yeah, I was about to say, so, full disclosure, as a member of the council, I will be abstaining. The only point I would like to make is whatever precedent is decided by the board, I'm going to apply to future, philanthropics and or limited funding.
Good all?
I mean, we should fund standard fees. We should not hold them accountable for that, but I feel like we should try to do that.
Answered? Yeah. Okay. Zane, you already said everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright, so I think when they come in, we'll see what's up.
I think that when you do set your precedent, make sure you're very clear on if it's just for anyone hosting philanthropic or if it's just limited funding or, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
be clear with your precedent in that matter.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any other discussion points anyone would like to bring up? If not, we'll move on to the next one. Engineers Without Borders, we're requesting funds to send 2 people on a conference to San Francisco. We're requesting for $1,218. If we were to apply our previous precedents, we'd give 50% of what was previously given to Swede and SIS.
Both flights and lodging?
Yep.
Or the flights booked through,
Yeah, we'll need to double check that.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think they are, but
Well, they might have to go.
Should we ask them like,
Have they, yeah, that's what it, have they
Have they
been
paid for
booked?
it,
Have they
yeah.
been paid for?
Do they have a picture in there?
They do.
they do?
Very bottom, hotel. School flights, no. They'll tell them we'll send them to go to David Royer and get some action once to them.
What can we fund if we don't have a quote then?
Yeah, we will. We'll table them, tell them to go to David Royer, get an actual quote from Globetrotter and then come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they can just do it.
Yeah, we'll get them after that. So one of the thoughts that popped into my head is that the reason why we fund these organizations is that they're meant to bring something back to UMBC, or they're supposed to be representing UMBC on a national or whatever level. I'm having hesitations about our precedent that we set to represent these type of organizations. I feel that the personal, I don't want to say personal benefit, but it's just like, what they're bringing back to campus, I don't feel, it's not very well seen, to be honest. The effects of it, I haven't been able to witness. Of course, I'll ask them to speak on that, but what do we, in theory, we're trading the student dollars for them to give something back to UMBC. It's not just for them to go to their conferences, right? At least that was, I think, our justification for it, was that they'd be returning something back to UMBC.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And at this current point, I'm not confident, how do I put this? I don't feel like what they're bringing back to UMBC justifies the amount that we're giving them. But yeah.
Well, but then how do you, like, I mean, I feel like that's the thing you have to ask them, how do you measure it, but then, like, how
Yeah.
are we, because, like, that's, like, confusing, because, like, how are we measuring that?
Yeah.
Because, like, if it's not concrete.
For me, it's more like, okay, so like, if you're going to go present at a conference representing UMBC, yeah, it makes sense. We'll be able to pay for that.
Mhm.
If you're going to compete representing UMBC, it makes sense because we want to send the best out there. If you're just wanting to go to a conference because I want to go to a conference,
No, I
what's
understand
the
that part,
justification? Yeah.
but, like, I guess from my understanding, I would have to know, like, what more about the conferences.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I agree on that line, like, if you're not, I mean, I think, I forget who was talking about, I forget if it was me or someone or one of the other organizations, they like, oh, like, we'll be doing a lot of networking back, or like, we'll do, like, listening panels, so we want to bring that to our members and like talk to them about that, and like, just doing like from that, I forget exactly what they said, but like, I think that like makes sense, but yeah, I mean, I would agree with that logic, but I would be hesitant before we see clubs.
Yeah,
to
of
just
course,
like,
it's just like, I think that's the thing that we need to question heavily onto, is that, well, what are you're asking everyone else to contribute into sending you to things. Okay, well, I mean, we're not doing this out of, all right, if you want to go to a conference, we'll send you on a conference. So I think that's something that we do need to ask. But are there any other talking points on this one?
This is the one that only has like 2 people requesting from.
Indeed.
I found that peculiar. Like, it's possible that it's like, hey, we had funding for everyone else, just not these 2 people, which in that case it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
We should figure out
I
how to
thought
hold
I-
them to the time.
That as well.
I thought I included something in here about like the screenshot of the email as well. Like it was people.
if you'd like to make a name tag. Thanks very much. When do we name our organization, or just?
Sure.
Okay, you can put your name and like read it.
All right, so it's all
Yes, let's do that.
Did we go over all the names?
No, yeah, we still have more to go, but it's true. I think
Yeah.
there's not more to go on right now.
Yeah, I still have one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we gotta figure out like how, like, we include the entire.
Yeah, how do you go recruiting for this?
Yeah.
What's the turnout, who gets to go? If you didn't advertise to a single person on campus and just 2 people decide, oh, we want to go to this and we have an organization for it, I don't think that's not an open opportunity.
Do they have other choices of funding?
Is it?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I think for the registration fees, maybe part of it.
They said they'd already paid the registration.
Yeah. No price.
Wait, scroll back up.
So they.
What does it say the purpose is?
Hmm?
Training and project execution and.
So
I think you need to elaborate on its purpose.
Yeah.
Is some kind of.
Are there any discussion points right now, or can we move on to the next one?
I think we should just do
Alright, let's move on. Alice Depew is requesting funds for a ball, I would say.
So like
So,
formal, like that.
But it isn't positive, I think it's.
They have,
Okay.
I think they promised spring, and this is like the same thing but in the fall, and like less prompt.
Last.
Yep, alright, so I don't think we have too many issues with all the standard fees, right? This is just another
Just ask about the event.
event on campus, yeah. Food, I think they're gonna run to an issue there. They're saying 100 UMBC students, 150 people in total attendance. They'll run into our max, into our upper cap. Contract, make sure that thing's not paid to a UMBC student. Balloons.
Do they have the codes for the contracts?
Oh.
or-
And note on the cups and plates.
Yeah.
It was nice that they were like green.
They're biodegradable, which is, that's a nice.
That's an expensive one.
Yeah, they are, but we'll plot it.
Should we do a cap on those?
No.
No, I feel like since they're.
We're technically supposed to be.
We're supposed to be
encouraging
mandating
those.
every single organization to do this,
Yeah, so eco.
Okay.
technically speaking. But,
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen cheap.
yeah.
biodegradable.
So Tanya, you're the one always on decorations. How do you feel about decorations?
Yeah. This seems minimal,
Okay.
but like I'd still like to just get and talk about it.
Balloons.
Like they have balloons.
Well, that and that.
And candy.
Yeah.
SGA can blow up 400 balloons so huge with the lungs.
I thought this was a photo wall. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just a little
Oh.
more because it's fabric.
Yeah, that's what.
So it's
Oh, I thought-
$8.
I'm so dumb.
Yeah,
Oh, I
like
can't
like
think.
the like I said, it's fine. I just as a chapter, so like all organizations to talk about.
Yep.
I feel like they explained the purpose.
I don't expect any issues or it's fine.
Okay. So, balloons, okay, everything looks good on this one, right? Okay. We'll move it right along. So let's go back to the agendas. Thank you. So meeting prep is functionally done. Are there any other things anyone would like to talk about before this meeting? Questions, concerns, comments about
those type of conferences kind of create student leaders and they go into leadership positions. And that's personally what happened to me, why I'm in SGA and stuff, so I support creating student leaders for that justification.
Did you have to go into details about
Yeah.
what their description that they wrote? I don't think it's clear enough. What the,
That's just a rebuttal to like how it brings back to the campus.
All right. Anything else? If not, we'll move right along. Society question today. I'm going to make an assumption it's saying you're from pre-dental.
Yeah.
Welcome to Finance Board. So, your organization should have received a list of questions beforehand, correct? Okay. So, Finance Board member will be asking you those questions, and I'll be answering that. So, Finance Board members, you know procedure on this one. If you feel like it's been answered by your organization already, feel free to skip it. Just ask, like, okay, can we skip this one? Scott, what's up?
Do we have to table tax before this?
Oh yeah, we do.
That was actually before this, so we already tabled that. It was
And we
before
didn't
the
even go through the minutes and
We
We're
already.
we're gonna take out.
okay.
Wait, did we table that?
Not yet.
Okay.
All right, no problem.
They're on hold.
Is there a motion on the floor?
Motion to table access.
Okay.
second.
All right, all those for tabling PAXA until next week, please raise your hand. 7. Okay, 7, 4, 0 against. Tax has been tabled. Business separation, all right, read through that one. What trials again? Dental Society, welcome. Pre-Dental Society. So, got the questions? Finance Board member will be asking them. Yada, yada, yada. The Finance Board member who's be asking this question will now introduce themselves. So introduce themselves.
Well, who is it?
Oh, sorry. Hi, I'm Carly, the district treasurer. Sorry, I'm like sending emails to people also. I'm the district treasurer. I use she, her pronouns. Introduce yourself.
My name is Shukran. I'm the treasurer of the Pre-Dental Society.
I'm Scott McCann, Finance Board Representative, GM.
Tori Beasley, I'm an advisor, she hers.
Christina, Finance Board Representatives, pronouns she, her.
I'm Tanya, Vice Chair of Finance Board. She, her pronouns. Also, if I could just ask that you like display your real name tag, that'd be great. Spelling's great. Yeah.
Oh, so pretty.
Okay.
Good handwriting.
Show that off. Thank you.
I got the other hand.
Like tables it up or like.
I think that there were not clear instructions given.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's fine. This is like the first time we're doing this, but we
Right.
appreciate it. We made it really pretty. We have a good example now.
How do you say your name again?
Shukran.
Shukran. I'm Candace Martinez Doan, I'm Director for Leadership and Governance, SGA Advisor. She's our pronouns.
Canal Finance Board Representative.
What? I'm Daniel. I'm current chair of Finance Board. Please.
I'm Zane. I'm the vice president of student organizations. UCM.
Okay.
Did you bring any kind of like presentation or anything to go over? It's okay if you didn't.
I did not.
Okay, that's okay. We can just jump straight into the.
Also, we have the vice president coming, so is that what we should?
Oh, do you want to wait for another 7 minutes? Because technically we're ahead of schedule.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
7-minute recess.
Yeah.
No.
We don't have to turn it off. It's gonna be for 7 minutes.
All
That's
right,
the point.
fine.
That's silly.
I'm
We
just
did it
saying,
for
last
me.
year there was some shenanigans during like recess.
I love shenanigans.
Yeah, we
I
know.
love shenanigans.
Y'all behave yourselves.
I just think it's silly to like keep turning it on and off because then it stops it as like a totally different video. So you have like 5 videos
Oh,
over the
really?
course of like 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, instead of just like so it's like what's the point?
We can edit them all together. It's fine. I have a mood maker.
Just so you're
I'm
aware.
gonna add like effects and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can just censor your mouth.
That's it.
Yeah. Every time I heard it.
Thank goodness.
Alright, Tanya, you volunteering yourself
For what?
to censor me in the
I don't
in the
do
videos?
anything with movie editing. I would have no idea.
I can edit a little bit.
I have a degree in it, so.
How are we lit though?
Like,
when you get like, you know, subscribe,
Yeah.
that's
So cool.
You should change
Getting
the
it.
sound of the guy that makes it something cooler.
Can you do like the like
sound?
Yeah.
How's your semester going, by the way?
Yes, going.
Like, does this
Yes.
guy even try? Like, this year's going.
It's
You talking about the course?
I was like, Candace, you should do that on
That is a Diet Cola live stream.
Oh
Diet
my
Cola.
Sorry, live
He
stream.
can't even brush his hair.
no product placement.
Oh.
Hey, this is a
So
Coca-Cola.
hot. Talking about Coca-Cola.
That's dumb.
Oh, are you
Yeah.
president?
I
You know.
protest that.
Yes.
Have you ever been finance before?
No.
First I have to.
Alright. Do you mind if we just start on that one?
Yeah.
Alright, wonderful. Recess ends at 6:10. Alright, Carly,
Back at it again.
back at it again.
Would you like to introduce yourself to the board?
Oh yeah, I'm Saya. I'm the vice president for the Pre-Dental Society. I've never been here before.
Wow, cool. If you'd like to make a name tag like one of ours, feel free to. Yeah, you just fold it and make it shorter. Yeah, they used to be longer, now they're shorter. But yeah, go ahead and make one. You can fold it.
There's
Or
a budget
not.
cut.
It's cool.
You noticed. What? You
They
noticed.
are.
Yeah, they are.
You can stand.
At least you have one.
I don't remember.
The name tags are also smaller, but it's fine. No
All right.
product of them.
Yeah, they are.
So, okay, cool. We're just gonna jump into questions then. First tell us a little bit about your organization, like Pre-Dent Society. What do you guys do? What are you about?
The Pre-Dental Society is basically like an organization that works to help students that are looking to get into dental school and are interested in the dental career path, because we have like pre-medical society, all these different like medical class and like pre-professional, but there's not that much space for students who are looking into pre-dental, so that's what this club kind of offers. Yeah.
Cool. And so, what's the event that you're requesting for?
So Impressions Day is an event that's held by the University of Maryland School of Dentistry, and they basically have it as like an introduction or like an orientation sort of, but an early like pre-orientation for students who are considering the pre-dental pathway or dental pathway, and then you get to meet the entire like administration of the University of Maryland School of Dentistry, and you meet dental students who talk to you about what it's like being a dental student, and you learn about different specialties and how to apply to dental schools. And it's really special because this is the closest dental school to our, city over here in Baltimore. So it kind of just gives you that bridge for applying and hopefully getting in.
Cool. So, how did you come up with like the number of people?
We sent out an interest form over email, and we talked about it during the meetings actually, but then we sent out an interest form for anyone
Yeah.
$25.
Right?
That's great. And none of the tickets have been purchased yet? Like any of the
So we
registration?
don't sell the tickets, the school does.
Okay,
Yeah, and we told people not to pay for it yet.
okay.
So just in case we do get funding, that, because they're not gonna get a refund if they paid for it.
You're right.
So we were like,
Exactly.
don't pay
Yep.
for it yet, just in case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So no one's paid for it. Great. And are there any non-UBC students in the 41 that were trying to attend? Okay. Who's eligible to attend?
Anyone who goes to receive.
Cool. Have you had any attempts at fundraising or getting departmental funding?
So we do fundraising. We have some money in our carryover account, but we are funding like kind of the transportation to go there, and we're also funding parking. And so we decided to just ask for the registration fee.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good. And are those like what if any other costs are you covering for the event? Your own, whether carryover exemption yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't ask any other boards or other departments or anything.
Okay. This question says, why is there a charge for USBC students? I don't know if I'm understanding who created that question.
I copy pasted, so, is there a charge for UBC students?
No.
Well, yeah, it's just the charge for the conference is somewhere else.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, those are all the questions I have. Thanks for.
Alright. Are there any additional questions for the organization?
I feel that was pretty thorough.
Okay. If not, we're gonna move into a period of discussion. During
That
discussion.
work? Did you guys like make up questions beforehand?
Yeah.
Just one person asks them?
Yeah, on the form it does say there's a charge, but I guess that was a mistake.
Right. Big changes. It's been a while since you've been here.
They were sent.
Right.
Right.
So we're gonna enter a period of discussion.
Wait, hold on. Did you not know about the questions? Did you just like
No, I
answer
saw
all
the
those, like-
questions, but I was like,
Okay.
Yeah.
We're getting into this next question.
Right.
Ah, okay.
Okay. If there are no other comments, going once, twice, wonderful. We're gonna enter a period of discussion. Only finance board members may participate in this. If you have a point of clarity, please raise your hand. I may call upon you. If a finance board member has a question they'd like to ask you, I may call upon them to ask you. So, who would like to begin this? Scott.
This is just registration fees, they have skin in the game. I see no reason under our current precedents why we wouldn't fund this.
Okay. Anyone else?
It's also great how it's only $25 a person, and they're like opting to cover the transportation and parking costs themselves. Like that's really awesome. We always appreciate you guys trying to like cut costs in your end and also like fundraise. So, like you're not as like having to rely on funds. Super duper for fully funding.
And from what Saya said about what she brought back, was it brought back already, and then their numbers have increased now, like what's I think is actually really great. I think we should fully fund support this.
Okay. Are there any motions on the floor?
Hi, I have a question. So I'm not disagreeing with any of these things because I feel that all these are valid. Does
Yeah.
this help to define what you consider, what is considered valuable that organizations are bringing back to these conferences?
Every single conference is different though.
Yeah.
For the value of $25, I think that's sufficient enough of an answer. However, for the amount of other organizations requesting, I don't think it sufficiently covers the amount.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But is there a motion on the floor?
Move to approve.
Did we actually say the legislation number?
Legislation.
No, you don't have to say the legislation.
No, or why wouldn't you?
Because we never formed after the
Legislation's not
We don't
made
know
yet.
any of the numbers.
But it has the.
We don't have numbers.
I'll make this a legislation tracker.
Finance board member.
Robert's rules of order. We like to do something like keep it simple.
Wait, okay, is there a motion on the floor?
Secondly, Candace.
Move to approve the Freedom Society for the amount of $1,025.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those for approving Freedom Society for the amount of $1,025, please raise your hand. 7 for, 0 against. All right. You've been funded for $1,025. Carly will talk to you about the procedure after this. And if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please let Carly know and she'll relay this to us. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much, guys.
Have fun at your event.
Thanks.
Your first experience at finance board.
Thank you. It was.
All right. 6:25 is when the next organization comes in. 5-minute recess. Be back here by 6:45, everyone.
Am I turning off the live stream or are we keeping it on?
We'll just keep on rolling. We'll do shadow puppets, give them a little show for the information.
Is this when we're going to do our thriller performance, Daniel?
Up.
Is this when we're doing our thriller performance?
Indeed. Also, we're going to learn how to dance
at you.
like K-pop songs.
I was just
So,
saying what's up. I wasn't like directing it at
I thought.
Yeah. Good. Good. Also, I do not like inconsistency and terrible makes me mad at them. And so does the salad place.
Wait, hold on, what's inconsistent?
The bowl you're eating out of.
Are you talking about the bowl itself or what's contained in the bowl?
No, the bowl itself.
Okay.
Oh, no, not what you got.
It's just poor ordering.
Yeah, I guess we don't have.
As someone who's worked in food, it ain't that easy, man.
It's not?
No.
Don't you just bulk order everything?
You do, but sometimes you have those days where it's like, bam, where all these people come from?
But it's the beginning of the month.
Sometimes.
Yeah, they need to get on.
And sometimes, like, the people that you order from go on strike and you can't get anything.
Excuse me, what?
Things happen, man.
We love a good strike. Actually, interesting thing about strike.
Doing some
In Europe, they plan that ahead of time. It's so nice. So like we are striking, the trains are not running at this time. It's just like, hello. What's up with it? That should probably be my sign off. Vice president. I would like to make what's your actually first names and then like fold them kind of like this.
We're gonna go through so much paper, I love it.
Huh?
So we're gonna go through so much paper in the year, I love it.
And then we can recycle it and make more paper.
That's not really recyclable.
Huh?
That's not really recyclable.
Why not?
For recycling,
I'm using it.
that paper has been recycled already.
I'm gonna flip them.
Yeah.
Can we get decomposable paper
Cool.
ones?
All papers disposable.
So should I do that outside after we're done?
No, I'm just saying that you should just put it in the trash. Because, right, so when you put it in the recycling, it's just gonna get sent to the recycling center. They're gonna say, we can't recycle this, and they're gonna put it in the trash.
There's no chemical breakdown.
Well, American Recycling is what
I mean,
Right, because
80%
American, something, and it's like, it's called like,
being dumb.
well, no, aspirational recycling, like, they're like, or something like that, they're like, I think this can be recycled, and put it in the recycling.
I'm inspired.
And, yeah, and so they.
Is that defense?
Huh?
Is that defense's question?
I think so. Kunal, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You want me to move up front?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll throw it in a little bit.
Also, you guys like don't need to, but just question: do you have a presentation or like just
We don't have a form. We have Daniel, I think, sent us questions last night, so we have like a filled out of our questions.
just checking.
or answers.
We can turn the answer to the first two questions into a presentation if you want.
You're fine. You're fine.
You know, I'll pass on that one, but. Huh? So Steven's doing Honors College. Yeah, Scott's doing LSU.
I'm doing engineering.
Oh, that's good.
You're doing engineering?
You're also doing
Alright, well, we got another minute, so we're gonna stick to the schedule.
We have one more person coming.
Okay.
Cecilia's not on.
We can start on time.
Yeah.
I won't have you guys late. Yeah, we have no problem with that.
Wait, what?
I don't usually drink at 20.
I don't usually.
I've seen you do it.
Oh, which you need to fix though.
Yes.
I don't like coffee, okay?
Alright, Cecina is back, Cecina, we'll wait for
Or we
Cecina.
can wait for the other person.
It doesn't matter, they're just emotional support.
Okay, well, we'll begin again at 6:25. Okay, so, welcome to finance board. You guys should receive a pre-screened list of questions. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. So, a finance board member, in this case Kunal, will be asking these questions to you. And we'll begin a round of introductions starting from.
Hi, my name is Kunal, I'm the finance board representative.
Candace Martinez, doing that SGA advisor, she's her program.
Hello, I'm Daniel White, I'm the current chair of the finance board. Coming on again.
Hi, I'm Zane. I'm the vice president for student organizations.
Hi, I'm Carly, I'm the SGA treasurer sheet.
I'm RJ. I'm a grad student in the CyberDogs Club. This is my 5th year, and I'm a historian.
I'm Zach Korndorf. I guess I'm a senior now, so this will be my 4th year in the club. I'm currently the vice president.
I'm Kevin, I'm the president of the CyberDogs, it's Ian.
This guy's Buchanan, finance board representative. And
I'm Tori Easley, I'm an advisor, she, hers.
Susanna, finance board representative, pronouns she, her.
Hi, my name's Tanya, I'm vice chair, I use she, her pronouns.
Kunal, you know the role, like the entire thing? Just get the questions if you feel it's necessary.
Can you tell us a little bit about your organization?
Okay, so we're officially the cyber defense team. We also go by the CyberDogs. Our entire goal as a club is to just promote cybersecurity and expand on cybersecurity education to different students and all types of people. We do this a couple different ways. We have three main tracks we like to call. The first one is like a lecture track. So we like to actually, in our club meetings, we spend about an hour or half our meetings actually giving like a formal presentation lecture about material. The second half, which is what we call our hands-on track, we like to give people hands-on experience and actually doing a lot of the concepts we teach. Then the third track is what we call industry exposure / like competition participation. So as you guys may know, in 2017 we were the national cyber defense competition champions. So that kind of tailors on to the aspect of our club in competition participation. We think really highly of ourselves that way. Industry exposure, we have a lot of networking experience with different companies. We have various companies come in, and our entire goal is to teach people how to network in a professional setting and how to get jobs. So, and I think the running number is about 3/4 of our student body as internships in cybersecurity positions in a lot of our sponsors.
Can you tell us a little about your
Yeah. Something technically to do that, so I'm going to answer that question. So, the name of the event is the Cyber Defense Exercise. So, one of the skills we like to teach as part of our meetings is how to defend a network. So, it's their job to be responsible for the security of this network. What would they do? What would they change about the system to make it more resilient to attack? One of the ways that we can practice it is by playing competitions like CCDC, which we're known for winning. And we want to recruit people for that team and give people that maybe they haven't gotten the experience to be able to make the team yet, but it'd still be cool if they could have an opportunity to do something similar. So we decided last year to start running a miniature version of that competition in-house for our members. So the general idea is you bring in, you bring in industry professionals to attack the network. So we bring back alumni and other volunteers that we know their skills are up to par and they're able to provide a realistic attack for these students to defend against. We then have the student teams, which we call the blue teams, because they're defending against red. And they're given 4 computers that you might conceivably see in a business. They're, of course, virtual machines. We don't have that many laptops. We don't have that kind of money. So we give 4 computers. We tell them a couple weeks before the competition some generic information about what it'll be. And for the day, that is their network to defend and how to do it as best as possible, while receiving a bunch of questions from the competition staff like, hey, we simulated hiring a new guy, please give him access to things, and other various things to test their knowledge of how the computer network works.
How did you come to this number of attendance?
Okay, so the way we came to the number of attendance was based on last year's attendance. So we anticipate about 15 teams of, again, 4 students, so that comes to around 60 people. Each of those teams need around 1 to 2 what we call white team members, which are the judges who are delivering those business tasks. And then we have around 10 people on this so-called red team, which is the attacking infrastructure, and then the rest of the number comes out to organizers, people that are helping organize, like Zach, myself, RJ, and so on and so forth.
As well as like industry sponsors who are at the event to recruit students and network with them.
Okay. you made a My UBC event page?
So we haven't yet, for the reason that it requires a decent amount of preparation to play this, because it's designed to test their knowledge of the network. So I'm going to be telling them to spend 8 hours in advance to practice for this competition. So I mean, if it's a sticking point for you guys, I'm more than happy to create a My UBC event. I just don't know how broadly applicable it would be to people outside our club. Everyone at UBC is, of course, welcome.
I'd like to make a note on that. So again, with the competition, it's more tailored towards, again, everybody's welcome, but it's more tailored towards our club body, because the skills that we teach in our weekly meetings are the skills that they're going to want to use and exercise in this actual competition. So again, anybody is welcome to the competition, but if they don't have the proper skills, then we wouldn't recommend it, because we don't feel that some people may get out what they would put in and invest with.
What are other sources of funding you checked off maybe? Can you elaborate on that a little?
Sure. So in the past, we have been able to procure some financial aid from external sources who attended and helped put together the event. Some of these examples were in the form of cash donations, helped facilitate the event, and donated goods such as food and t-shirts. We also have working relationships with these external sources. These come with our industry partners that we mentioned before. They come to some of the meetings to display the technologies that they're using, trying to spark more interest in cybersecurity and give that real-world application. And they receive like job marketing, networking incentives in return. So as of this year, we were able to procure some funds from two companies. And these funds are not only used for competitions, but they're used for like the entire club itself. So as far as budget, as far as going and participating in competitions, providing a way to pay admission fees for people to participate in competitions that are in our club, as far as buying hardware for this competition, because this competition needs an extensive amount of hardware. Again, different apparel, prizes, things like that. So we do have a small.
Okay. What is the purpose of food?
So, 1 second. So the purpose of food is, again, we want to, our whole goal, one of the main goals our club is trying to get people jobs. And a lot of settings that we feel people are like underprepared for when they go into a real world setting is the aspect of how to demonstrate good etiquette and manners in a food setting with different industry people. So we rented out the entire pub atrium. So the idea is this: the industry exposure or industry partners will have their tables across from the food, and what the students will do and the industry people will do is they'll grab food and chat in stand-up setting. It's just a way to kind of make it a little bit more informal, but again, we're trying to hammer home those soft skill concepts of you need to be respectful, you need to show good etiquette and general manners.
We had a lot of success with this tactic last year, where you have like the introverts, the stereotypical like computer science nerds on the teams who would probably not have otherwise interacted with the sponsors as much. We really saw some good interactions with them last year at this event.
I actually managed to get my internship this past. So I was on the board last year, but I actually played in the competition, and I actually managed to get my internship offer from networking with companies in the same exact environment last year.
How did you choose this food vendor?
Popular demand, basically. We've used them before.
What time would your food arrive?
So the food would arrive around between 11:30 and 11:45. That would be something that I would actually leave the competition and go pick up myself. So it would be there well.
Okay. Can you give us a timeline of the event?
Sure.
So
the event's on Saturday, as you guys are probably aware. So we're going to get there as early as the building opens, which I think is 8 a.m. We're going to get there. We're going to run network wires all over the building. There's lots of stuff to set up. It will hopefully get done in the 2 hours we have allotted. 9:15 we have breakfast scheduled to start, where the competitors and volunteers that aren't already there will arrive, eat, and mentally prepare to execute the game plan they prepared. At 9:45 we're giving an opening speech. Then at 10 a.m. the so-called competition time starts. That's when the attacks start going against the networks, and that's when the student teams have the ability to make changes to the network to defend it. And then at 12 p.m. we're taking a break in the competition, because if we didn't force them to take a break, they wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. So scoring gets paused at 12 p.m. Blue teams are technically prevented from accessing the computers.
I'll interject there. The main reason why we have an hour break again is to give them the opportunity to have a break, take a breather, kind of think through their game plan, and then also this is the opportunity for the networking. So the networking would start at the beginning around the breakfast time, 9:15 to 10, And then from 12 to 1, this is, again, trying to get their minds a little bit off of the stress that they're under with the competition and get them in that social environment with different sponsors or different industry professionals.
I don't think we need to ask the next question. It's already done. How will you be advertising this event?
So the way we're advertising the event is we have been talking about it at our club meetings. We have registration is actually going up this week.
We're actually spending our entire meeting talking about this genre of competitions and then why they should play this one.
Exactly. We also have upwards of 900 people on our mailing list. So we will send out weekly emails to our mailing list. So that will be one way that we're advertising. And also our club sponsors, Dr. Nicholas and Dr. Forno, will be sending out emails to all the cyber majors and probably the department, the CSE department as well.
Okay. Are there any costs that the organizations would deal with?
Excuse me?
Are there any costs that the organization you guys would deal with?
Yes, so we have dealt with the hardware costs, which is the entire competition infrastructure, prizes for participants, and competition apparel. So t-shirts with our logo, the UMBC logo, saying, hey, I participate in this competition is awesome, kind of a little bit of swag to show around.
Okay. Have you spoken to any departments or colleges on campus to requesting support?
So again, Dr. Nicholas and Dr. Forno, those are our main contacts in the CSE department.
Just wanted to.
Yeah, no worries.
Who are the other 39 UMBC students? I'm pretty sure you.
Yeah, that's what they're listening.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's about the industry partners.
Yeah, industry partners, our red team with Alhoon, that would not be possible, our competition judges. They like to bring back alumni and such as well.
A lot of the reason why we have more people that many people allotted for off-campus people is because as a cyber defense club, we've been around since 2012. We've had a very good relationship with our alumni, and we want to continue to foster that community and try to get people to continue to give back and keep networking again. Because the more people you know, I've found out, the better off you'd be as you graduate. And we just want to keep that kind of like, I want to say brotherhood, but again, it's also brotherhood / sisterhood. Like we have all types of people in our club, and we just want to keep that community nice and tight.
We have alumni coming at tomorrow's meeting actually for when we talk about these competitions. We have a lot of the national champion CCDC team returning to talk about their experiences. So it's going to be really exciting.
So, if there are any other questions for the organization, this is the time to ask them. Anyone?
Why throw it on mine?
Yeah, because they're right there up in the back. If there are no other questions,
for the thorough list of questions, to bring up.
If there are no additional questions, Todd, you're looking like you have a question. No.
Do we
No?
talk about, so you guys are requesting food from Peapod and from a vendor.
Correct.
Is one for breakfast or lunch, or how is
So the Peapod is for the breakfast, and then the vendor would be for lunch.
Okay.
So I did note that I gave the total as if with tax included. I wasn't entirely sure how SGA handles like taxes and things like that. I've heard of a W-9 form.
We don't pay taxes.
Okay, that's what I've heard. So I wasn't. So when I made the allocation request, I wasn't entirely sure like what if I should not include the taxes. So I just went ahead and gave the full number there.
Tori or Candice, can you guys give us a number without food without the taxes?
For food without the taxes?
Or food without the taxes.
Do you want the number?
I mean,
It's loading.
okay, yeah, because they'll do that one discussion, I think. So if there aren't any other questions, Finance Board will move into a period of discussion. During discussion, it's only for Finance Board members to discuss. If a Finance Board member does have a question for the organization, I may call upon them to ask it to you. If you guys have a clarifying point, feel free to raise your hand. I may or may not call upon you, but let's get started. All right, Finance Board. So I think we can roll through and just say setup, audiovisual, housekeeping, security are A-OK. Any objections there?
Agreed.
Okay. Now, of course, this is the discussion on food. Would anyone like to begin that discussion?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How much is it gonna be, per head? It says 1,110, right?
We'll wait for Tori to get the actual number.
Oh, is that,
Yeah.
okay.
Without tax.
Without taxes. But I think it would be plus or minus
Like
1,020-ish. 1,030, 1,040, yeah, no, somewhere in the 1,000-ish.
No, I meant like per person. How much?
Yeah, per person, divide that by 70. comes out to a bit over 13, 14 a head, I think. Anyone got a calculator? Hey, thank you. I'm not kidding.
Do you pay pickup fee?
Yeah.
So,
1,054.52 divided by 70 UMBC people.
15.
$15 a head.
Is that exactly? 6 cents. Thank you.
Okay. Ed, all right. So, what is the level that we're willing to fund that? $10 a head?
That's where I'm at.
That's what Scott is at.
2 meters.
It is 2 meals.
And it is like almost an all day though.
Are the costs as is separated or are they lumped?
They're wrong.
They're long.
Do you wanna look at the other ones?
One should be like, what, 856?
Okay. 1 second, guys. Zane has a
oh, so
clarification.
like right now we're just like talking, like specifically with like the food thing, we're talking about like setting a precedent on like for future requests and like allocations. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why we're like currently
From the deliberative stage.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I just want to like kind of like
I do have a question. You guys are talking about, can I make a question?
Go.
So, you guys are talking about 70, you're doing that based on just the UMBC students. Is that like the typical standard for, because again, without the outside help, I mean, the competition would not be.
Yeah.
any
So
other
the rationale, I can tell you about the rationale behind that is that, so the way that UMBC, the finance way we get our money is that every single student here pays 97.1 now, something like that. 94, somewhere around upper 90s in student activity funds. Yeah. And so in our minds, it doesn't seem like a very good allocation for us to be sending that money to people outside of UMBC because we're supposed to be subsidizing UMBC students.
Okay.
It makes it a lot more difficult for us to justify those things. And it's like, okay, well, theoretically, yes, people are coming to campus. However, the money being pooled together was supposed to be used for UMBC students. Yeah.
On that note, I have a quick clarification question as well. So the number that was given for the 70, that is undergraduate students, correct?
Correct. It would be undergrad and correct. We do have some.
We have, so Cyrus is a PhD student,
Yes, so
I'm
we-
master's.
We do have a few graduate students.
How many people are in the 791?
I'm not exactly sure, but it's a mix between it's primarily undergraduates, but there would be some graduate students as well.
Historically, a vast majority is.
Vast majority of it.
Okay. We're going to return into discussion again.
Okay.
Yeah. Vast majority will be undergraduate students.
I agree with Carly when it comes to it is an all-day event. I understand where she's coming with that, but I don't know. Maybe I'm willing to extend it, maybe $12 per head. It's maybe where I'm at, it might be an all-day event, but between 10 and 12 probably.
Dr.?
So in terms of, because it's such an expansive time with multiple meal periods, I would like to propose a like 1.5% increase for, or sorry, not 1.5. Sorry, so 1.5 times. So like instead of $10, doing like $15 for like for like multiple meal coverage. However, if we're very set on only maintaining that the money from student activity fees go to undergraduate funding, then I would like clarification on the number.
Susanna?
So is the 1,000, that number right there, is that for the 2 meals that they're talking?
Yeah, it's $1,054.52.
1,054, that's for 2 meals?
That's for breakfast and for lunch.
Yeah, so, yeah, if it's for 2 meals, then I think it's reasonable. And it's 70 people, it's twice.
So we do need a set on how we're going to be doing that. How will we be, what's the determination? We can't just go like, okay, yeah, looks like a good amount. How do we apply this to future organizations? Do we just look at it again and say, yeah, that's a good amount? Or are we going to set a rule?
Oh.
Yeah, we would need to set a rule, that's the thing.
I mean, I think what Tanya was saying like makes sense because I mean a lot of. I mean, yeah, because we don't see a lot of requests that, like, in terms of food, like, a lot of it is like, oh, it's for like the scholar or it's for that, so it's like over one period of time, and then we just set the cap at like the per head that we justify. And so I think that makes sense in terms of like over meal periods. I mean, it makes sense to me, I don't know if any like, but also I think like, I mean, have we set a cap in the past just on like also food? I mean, I think it's possible, but like.
Put a cap at $12.
Okay, $12.
Maximum minimum fund last year.
Per event.
Per
Per
event,
event.
exactly. I'm in the thinking of where the food's aggregated. We can't simply go around on every single organization going, well, technically this time around, yada, yada, yada. It provides a bunch of loopholes.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that there needs to be a cap for that.
Yeah.
But then again, like, I'm not an expert in food yet, well, at least ordering, but like, I don't know, like, what's a reasonable kind of like amount? Does anybody else like?
So where
Maybe food experts.
So where are you at right now? Where are you?
Well, I mean, I think like the multiplier makes sense to me, and I would say like.
Funded at full?
No, I wouldn't say funded. I mean, I would personally say maybe like $12 an hour. I mean, I think 10 is kind of like when we factor in like you said you use the basis of like a meal at Trigger's, but that's for like lunch and then dinner one what like 11 something.
Something like that.
But I mean, I think it just needs to. I think it's just like wherever we get the precedent from, it needs to be clear and concise, but it also has to have like it can't just be like I can't just say like 10 because like we
could.
I mean, because that's not like
Nothing
the
prevents us
justification
from
for
doing
like
that.
boards and like as a body
Yeah.
that's supposed to be like representative and like everything.
The argument against that is $10 is what the finance board uses a reasonable amount for a single event's food allocation.
I don't know if that's like enough justification.
But then what happens when it's like two different, when it's like two different meals instead of one? So this,
Yeah.
you still keep the 10? What's
Should we, I
that?
think we should be more explicit.
It would have to be detailed.
Yeah, that's what it has to be like deep.
We set an upper cap of 15 in total per event, and then we expand upon that. I mean, that's certainly something we can do. Like, okay, we said.
Are you in favor of that?
I'd like to stick to $10. I think it keeps it nice and simple. It's just that organizations, I feel, the way precedents move around, it's going to make it easier for us to spread it and reduce confusion, for me at least.
That's a fair argument.
Yeah, they already miss a lot of the things we're throwing at them. Yeah, let's throw a couple more curveballs for them, and I feel like that's not going to be that great.
You want to do a straw poll?
What are the options?
Yeah, what are the options?
I thought like if we can do people that are like $10 ahead,
Or
people who want to get extended to 12.
I like the idea of $15 head for 2 meals. Like doing $10 head for 1 meal, but if you have 2 meals requested, it would be $15 for the 2 meals for the day. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Scott, are you ready to?
I'm asking Tori to look up the Trigger's entry cost for breakfast and lunch.
And this
That was
is like
operational.
Approximately 7 something, approximately 9 something.
I think we should use those numbers.
9 is
Yeah. And then if we were to go by the red card swipe of $5 and 40 cents.
No, it's like
No, it's
6.35.
6.30.
Yeah, 6:30.
We finally done it. Doesn't bad
It's
then.
over $6 now?
Wow. I haven't lived on campus in so
I thought it
long.
was at like $5.85.
Yeah, something like
For
that.
years, I don't know.
I thought they were gonna treat us.
Okay.
This is after tax.
Yeah.
Well, she looked at an organization also said that it's kind of an event tailored towards their members rather than the entire UBC community. Is there any discussion on that?
That's a fair point.
They don't have advertising.
Good. I understand your idea.
I think that they said that they were advertising to more than just their members, right? So communication was going out to the department, to
Goes out to the classes.
other people in the classes, and they have 900 members. So
Of course, it's like these type of events are, of course, targeted events.
Sure.
You're not expecting every single person to go like, well,
It's a
time
high
for me to
school
become
event.
I mean, I could sign
a
up.
cybersecurity.
You could sign up.
Yeah.
You know, have a great time.
But yeah,
I mean, it
I
makes
don't think it
sense.
makes the large
It makes
issue.
sense, yeah.
Large issue with that.
I think, yeah, requiring them to have my ABC event, which they said they were going to do anyway, would just like clear that up. Well, it is advertised, and anyone could go who has that interest, but like I said, it's probably geared towards more specific population anyway, so.
Yeah.
Tori, did you find the person?
I can't find them.
I found them. breakfast plus tax, $10.85 plus tax for lunch or brunch, $11.90 for dinner plus tax.
Oh God, True Grits. They're really price gouging.
Right, it is all you can eat, so.
Yeah.
Which typically these things are like, take what you want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what were the ideas on the table?
I was
For
making
funding.
$10 a head.
Per event?
Per event. Yeah, like
Okay.
a maximum of $10 a head per event.
What else?
Another thing was a $15 max, right, Charlie?
Yes.
$15 max per event. And then simply we would consider additional factors because of multiple meal periods and such.
So would it be, is it, okay, if it's $15 max, is there a, is that the same as $10 max?
I was thinking it as like, since it's 2 meals, $15 max for 2 meals versus like $10 max for 1 meal.
Mm.
That was the way I was thinking from as well.
Also, I feel it's unfair because it's close to $7.50 for the breakfast. I'll pay it before I what's that? Twice the cheapest
Yeah.
price.
So, of course, my additional, because I've always wanted to think of the future, we spent $53,000 on food last year. This type of precedent would, of course, increase our costs. And we are already increasing costs in multiple other fields. Is this something we're willing to do? For sustainability's sake, yeah.
How many events do you anticipate having multiple food servings?
I think that a good 5 to 10 events probably have that. I think so. 24-hour anime fest,
Oh, yeah.
star program, Splash UMBC. Yeah, because they feed their volunteers, they're gonna ask for additional food. Yep, all those organizations request food for multiple periods over the entire event.
Well, all lines.
Scott?
Do you think we would make it up by lowering the, like regular meal costs?
Regular
From
cost.
12 to 10?
10, yeah, sure, so we can do that, yeah. For singular event, we put it at 10. For multiple meal periods, we put it at max of 15.
Do you think that would make it anything up?
Yeah. Or however, see?
Well, I mean, yeah, I would also say like setting, I mean, that would be important, but also just like in terms of long term, like when we do kind of like running to our end of the fiscal year, like we do take in considerations of like importance. So like obviously we always do the important, like obviously like set up audiovisual, housekeeping, security are always important things, and like we have events runs, but in terms of food, like those are just one of those items that we might have to start like receding back on. And I mean, I don't think that's going back on precedent. I think that's just in terms of like context and finance and everything.
Yep.
I think
So,
yeah.
are we all right with the max of 10 per event? As long as 10 per single meal period, 15 up to multiple meal periods per head?
I like that.
Sounds reasonable.
Okay. Is that everyone's okay with?
No.
So do some math of 7. We need to open it up for a clarifying question to the organization. So the Student Government Association, well, of course we would assume it's all students. Technically we do exclude graduate students and PhD students as they don't pay into our pot of money. So could you guys give us an estimate of how many people are PhD and master's students?
The only ones that I know are going to the event are myself and Cyrus.
Okay.
And I'm not technically competing, I'm on the weight team.
Okay.
So I'm an organizer.
Yeah.
I would honestly, think 7, maybe 7 at the very max.
I can't even see that many.
I know
How about if we just- I'll throw out a number, is 3, okay? We'll just say 3 graduate students.
That's reasonable.
That's
Reasonable
just very,
amount?
very
Okay.
close.
We don't know who all is attending yet.
Yeah.
We have an estimate.
round numbers, 5 is also a round number.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like
But yeah, 3 would probably be,
3.
like, yeah.
Okay, so we'll put it at 67. Is the board content with that? Okay, so we have 67 people times 15.
That's 1,500.
1,005. Okay. So you got, is everyone all right with the amount of $1,005 for the organization? For food.
Yes, right.
Of course, right? Okay. All right, let's add all this stuff together.
Were you trying to say something?
No, I was in for it.
You good? All right. someone do some math for me?
It's 95.50.
20, 95, 50?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, is there a motion on the floor?
Move to approve cyber defense team in the amount of $2,095.50.
Okay.
Seconded.
Okay. All those for, please raise your hand. 7? Carly, raise your hand, right? Okay. Kunal, you as well? Okay. 7, 0, against 0, abstaining. Cyber defense, you've been allocated $2,095.50. Carly will talk to you about next steps, and if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please let Carly know, and she'll relay them back to us. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do appreciate your approach to consistency as well.
Oh, yeah.
We try.
Honors College Council is supposed to be here today. Good chat.
I think they're outside. I saw someone stick their head in, but the door's closed, so. Well, they didn't stick their head in after the,
You're like,
yeah.
get me out of here.
I couldn't hear it right here. That was my original question.
I don't remember.
All right, now there are some things that I do want to bring up during this brief
I
time.
had a friend who was just like,
All right, so I do have some things I want to bring up. So by meal period, are we utilizing the UNBC meal period system? No. So we're gonna what's
It's not to our discretion.
I would say based on
Let's set
duration
something.
of them.
Yeah, breakfast, lunch, dinner, or what?
More than one.
Okay, are we gonna have late night as a period? Because if we're basing it off of UMBC's meal period system, late night is a period. Yeah, so are we okay with just breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would also say that there should be a certain amount of time between periods. That's just me.
Okay.
Like having breakfast at 10 and lunch at 11 does not do.
Oh, no, that doesn't make
So like how you were suggesting earlier that there should be like maybe a 7-hour window, which is too much.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
No, it's just like for I had 24 anime playfest or whatever it is. They play anime for 24 hours. Do we give them 24 hours worth of meal swipes then?
Or have a cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the wording.
Right, so I think the question is, what triggers you?
And then if you look at both,
Got it, like, is it, what is it, what involves, like, is it about, like, over, I feel like it's 6 hours, right? You could do something from 8 to 2. That's breakfast and lunch, right? Or, yeah, I mean, 5 hours, if you want to.
All right, regardless, is everyone here? Okay. We'll give them a little bit to get their name tags in order.
Knowledge.
Yes. Okay. Carrie Dollar.
If everyone can write their first names really big, I appreciate it.
Everybody was a good one. Should we go to 5? Obviously, for the salary. Alright, let's get started. Okay. So is this Honors College Council?
Yes, we have 5 of them tomorrow co-hosts with us too.
Okay. Alright, so welcome to Finance Board. You guys should have received a list of questions. Yep, okay. So finance board member, in this case, Cecina will be asking these questions. Cecina, if you can start with introductions and the other procedure.
I'm Cecina, Finance Board Representatives, pronoun she/her.
I'm Tanya, Vice Chair for Finance Board. Also taking minutes this evening, and I use she/her pronouns.
Yes, Martinez Jones, Assistant Director for Leadership and Governance, SGA Advisor, she/her pronouns.
No, finance board representative, pronouns.
Hello, I'm Daniel White. I'm the chair of the finance board here.
Hi, I'm Zane, I'm the Vice President for Student Organizations at EM.
Hi, I'm Carly, I'm the SGA Treasurer. My name is Asma Azam. I'm the President of Finance Council, and I
Nancy Quo, I'm the VP of Finance for Finance Restaurant.
I'm Sonia, I'm the Treasurer for Honors College Council.
Kevin Chen, I am the president of Honors College Council here.
Scott Buchanan, finance board representative, Vita.
Tori Usley, advisor, she/hers.
For the record, again, I just want to say I'm registering an abstention for this vote as a member of Honors College Council board. Yeah.
Please tell us a little bit about your organization.
Okay, so Honors College Council serves to serve the Honors College students, and we create events for Honors College students as well as for the general student body, such as our Honors College Gala, which will be co-hosted with Phi Delta Epsilon. So the formal name is the Charity Gala for Children's Miracle Network, not under Honors College specifically. But we host these events to try to bring together the UMBC community. Most of our large events are open to all students, including our Trivia Bowl in the spring and as well as the Gala in the fall. And so we act as kind of a governing body, but not in the sense where SGA kind of governs, more so as like an event planning body where we also plan like mental health events where we have succulent plantings and like soap making or painting or other things that really boost the morale of the Honors College students and students in general.
And Phi Delta Epsilon, we are an international medical fraternity and a pre-medical chapter here at UMBC. So it is a Greek-led organization, so we go through a recruitment process and we have essentially like a closed membership. But our events oftentimes are catered towards like the entirety of UMBC, specifically with like our philanthropy events. So like anything that we raise money for our Children's Miracle Network hospitals is something that we'd like to cater to.
How did you come to this number of attendance?
So our 250 attendance number actually comes from last year because I believe our tickets were sold out and we had 250 tickets to sell. And we also did count the number of people coming in throughout the night, including people who bought tickets that day, and I believe our number was 250 from the
Have you made a My UMBC event? My UMBC event for your event?
Like marketing wise?
Yeah.
We have not yet. We are waiting for our full common vision packet to kind of come out as well so that we can market at the same time and kind of do a My UMBC event. Our common vision marketing and our Facebook marketing through our different pages and things like that.
And what is the purpose of food for your event?
So the purpose of food for our event, last year we got comments on our Papa John's food order saying it was not necessarily culturally relevant or relevant so much to the event as a whole. But this year, and last year we did use food as a way to draw like students in general instead of just Honors College students to the event. The students tend to come to events with food, and we figured we would raise more money if we did have food at the event. This year we're also adding a component of bringing catering to the local community, where our local our Budas community, has a lot of caterers, and I think that most of our catering does come from these large companies like Glenmore and whatnot. So we did pick a local company called Corner Bakery. So it's the Corner Junction Bakery, and they have like little pastries and things like that. So I think it'd be a nice it fits with the theme of the event where we have a red carpet event, so little finger food, kind of pastries, kind of goes with the theme of the event. And it also gives people who are nervous at such a large event like a room for comfort where they can hold something and eat something as they are doing like donations and all these charity-related things, and also it brings business to our local community, which I think should be more of a norm on campus.
What does the event bring to the UMBC community?
So the event is a charity gala to benefit the Children's Miracle Network, and I think that it is a great opportunity for UMBC to showcase our philanthropic roots, because we do have, Grabowski does like promote charity work and service, and all the money that we get from donors and how much we appreciate that, and we therefore should give to our local community as well. And this is the Children's Miracle Network of Johns Hopkins, so it's very close to home for us. And it is a wonderful cause, and I think that it'd be great for UMBC students to get involved and also have a nice formal dance night, where it's like a nice classy event where students can go. Whether it's networking, we will have a miracle child potentially there, and we will invite doctors as well, so this can be a nice networking night for students as well, and just generally getting to be in touch with a large philanthropic event like this.
And connections with Johns Hopkins Hospital.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
In your co-sponsorship, who is covering what?
So the ResGAF was submitted under Honors College Council, and so Honors College Council, we're requesting the funds from SGA, and then any funds we are not getting from SGA, Phi Delta Epsilon will use whatever part of their carryover they can to kind of fill in a little bit of the gap, and then the Honors College has agreed to provide us with the red carpet and some other decorative materials as well. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you speak about the significance of each decoration item?
Yeah, decorations.
Yep, put on the decoration. No. No.
So not
It's in the allocation request. First one.
Scroll down.
First one at the very bottom.
Oh, okay.
On the scroll. Actually, scroll. Up a little bit. Up. 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 Is it another one? Oh, there
No,
it is.
those are links.
Good.
Okay, awesome. So our tablecloth are for the tables, so that we have something to cover the tables, as the tables are used for a lot of different events, and it will protect the tables from damage as well. Our champagne flutes are for our centerpiece in the event, so we have a red carpet going down the middle of the room, and the champagne flutes are on the table in the middle of the room. Since we need glasses for this event, and we found really cheap champagne flutes anyways, we just decided to make the champagne flutes into a kind of tower in the middle, not only to decorate the room, but also to function as glasses, so people will take flutes from our tower to use as glasses for drinks. And the rose petals are also to decorate the centerpiece of each table instead of the central table going down the red carpet. We actually have some from last year left, but not nearly enough to make a significant decoration. So we are asking for rose petals, and it's $2,000 for $6 some. We'll do a better job of trying to save those this year so that we won't have to ask for them again next year. But due to the fact that last year our event was cut short by a little bit, and house cleaning came in really early and started just taking rose petals and things, we weren't actually able to save most of them as we intended. But we did make our event a little longer this year. The artificial roses were originally for the vases that we have in the middle, but we thought that if we would put them on there in case the rose petals for some reason were like rejected, because we have a couple of them left. And then our photo booth props are for like a memory keeping station that we have where people can take pictures at the event. And so that's that. Our vase fillers, so we have vases in the center on every table, and the vases will have lights in it because the room is lit rather dim. So our vases will have like little lights in it, and the Honors College has those little lights for us. And so the vase filler is just so we can prop the light up a little higher. And then the short string lights are for the photo booth area, so we can highlight the area so it's not just like a dark corner where people take pictures. Plastic vases, once again, these are like way cheaper and the cheapest option we found in terms of vases. but it is a centerpiece. We do want to keep this event rather classy, which is why the things we have asked for may seem a little extravagant, but we have found the cheapest options for each. And balloons are for just the center area as well as for our charity room. So we want to keep the charity room full of balloons and even with like a vase or two, because we will have our miracle child and we want to make him feel comfortable and like in a less serious like adult environment. So we have balloons there, and the pack happened to be for 100, so if we have balloons left from this year, we can use them in the next year as well.
All right.
I skipped this question, but can you give us a rundown of the evening's event?
Yeah, so the evening schedule will be similar to the previous year, although it will be elongated. We will have a 7:30 p.m. entry into the event, and then we will have opening remarks around 8 o'clock, and then opening remarks will also include our guest speaker, whether that is a doctor or whether it is our miracle child who's coming. And then we will have introductory statements from each of the co-hosts, and the co-hosts will explain what the event is together, and we will introduce the charity raffle at that time as well, because the raffle is part of this year's event as well, and that's how we're raising money. So we will also take that time to encourage people to donate. Then we will be playing music, and so in the forms we have not included a DJ because we will not have a DJ this year. We'll just plug our phone into the AV system and play music, and there will be dancing at this is 10:30. So at 10 we will do at 9:30 and again at 10, so twice. We will do the first round of charity raffle items and the second round of charity raffle items. This is so if people leave early, they still have a chance to get some of the items from the first round, or if they stay later or come later, they can get things from the second round. And we will announce the winners of those. So the formal charity auction part will take place, and then at 10:15 we will have closing remarks from both councils, and then we will close out the night.
Can you speak on your selection of the marketing package?
Yes, so our marketing package is, we did the first marketing package because the $250 one with the online display as well as poster and quarter cards, because we want to make this event as visible to the general UBC population as possible, because we did get comments last year that seemed like mostly honors college students that were in attendance. So we want to make sure that this is as visible to all UBC students as possible. And since we have 2 clubs this year, if we got as many quarter cards as were in the first package versus the fewer quarter cards in the other packages, we can actually distribute this to all of our members to give out to like different friends and things like that. And I think that we had a smaller marketing package last year, and then so like we didn't market as well potentially because of that. So we're trying to do a bigger package this year to market better.
And in the setup billing, what are the tripod? I don't know if I'm saying this word right. Easels for?
Oh, okay. They're for. So we have posters from Children's Miracle Network as well as from the Kennedy Center, which are one of our donors. And so every year there's only been 1 year. So like this year, again, we will put up posters on the easels. And so that's what the easels are for, to display any relevant posters about Children's Miracle Network or to display our raffle prizes.
And how did the event contribute to the purpose of your organization?
So the purpose of our organization, part of both of our club missions, is to give back and to do service, and they have an entire service program that they do throughout their normal chapters and things like that. And they have many service events that they do in their service requirement. And the Honors College, while we do promote service and we have practicums that students can do, and first year students have a requirement, after the first year there isn't really a large service event, organized service event that students really attend. And given last year's attendance with all those Honors College students, we figured it'd be a great opportunity to give another large service event for students to go to. And so that's why we decided to host another charity gala this year, and we're benefiting a different organization this time. So we want to really emphasize to students that we're not only doing like medical related, even though this year's is medical related again, but this was suggested this year by an honors college student. So we want to let people know that all service does matter, all service projects do matter, and that they can suggest things to us. So hopefully next year maybe we will get like a more social science related service project.
All right, are there any additional questions for the organization? Scott?
So on the request, it said that all 250 students or all 250 attendees are UMBC students. You said there were other people coming. Do you have
That were not already, okay.
So
We had some people come that were from the hospital, and not all of them got wristbands. So then they ended up having to get in. They had to like pay to get in because we did have external tickets for them. And I guess some UMBC students brought guests, so then in that case my 250 wouldn't be 100% accurate, whereas some of the people did bring guests from outside of UMBC.
Okay, but 250 was the total?
Yeah, it was the total though at the end of the night.
Okay, how many would you estimate were UMBC students then?
I would say the vast majority of them were, because most of the tickets were sold at the like CSC. So very few of them were sold at our actual event. So I would say at least 230 of the 250 were probably UMBC students.
Do people have to participate in the charity to attend?
No, because it is free to all UBC students to attend. So it's just, that's why we don't, we do emphasize that it's not like, you don't have to pay. And that it is a free event. So if they want to, they can. And that's why we give also like 45 minutes or so before we actually introduce the charity auction part. So they have 45 minutes just to chill, eat food, do whatever. And then, so it's not like that immediately you come and you donate kind of thing, where you're kind of forced to donate in order to be in.
Additional questions?
How would you be, maybe I missed it, how would you be collecting the donations?
We will be requesting a money box.
Okay, so cash donation.
Yes, cash donations.
Any additional questions?
I have a question. So I don't remember you mentioned this. You said there might be like one of the commercial children or something coming to the event.
Yeah.
You said the event would end around like 10 or 10:15. Would they be staying all the way to the end? Or?
Well, that's something that we're going to record. It is something that we record to the hospital.
So
their timeline is something that the event, I guess, the main strategic portion of the event will be catered around their availability.
Okay. Do you expect or like anticipate for everyone to stay all the way until the event at 10:15?
I expect that I'm not sure about the miracle child and his or his or family, but our speakers, yes.
Okay. And the attendees, yes.
Yeah, and that's why we also have 2 raffle sections, so that people do leave early, they at least can be there for the first raffle section.
Scott?
Candace, last time a club talked about raffling stuff, a speech where you guys can get
No, I mean, I think that I'm not 100% sure, and I think maybe somebody talked to you about this, but I'm not 100% sure on what the rules are around raffles and gambling, right? If you have to buy,
We have a gaming permit
you have a gaming
process.
permit, right? Perfect.
And we got one last year too for this.
Ah, good job.
Good stuff. Are there additional questions for the organization?
Can I actually add a correction to it?
What is it at the moment?
Or like, it's just like our food funding.
Okay.
So I had a huge discussion with the caterer today.
Okay.
And so the catering amount we put on there was for $250.
Okay.
Is it possible to increase that to $350?
Whatever documentation you guys had it attached for today is what we would be able to.
Okay, no, that's completely fine. I just wanted to like ask just in case. Okay.
If you wanted to table it to next week and then give probably the documentation.
Oh no, that's okay. I'll just ask the honors college to
Yeah.
like, okay, fill in the gap. Yeah.
So, Tanya?
I just wanted to clarify, you did want the $200 marketing package, or was it the
Does it say 200 on it?
200 on this one? But I saw on the other document it said 200.
Yeah, we requested 250s. There must have been a typo.
Probably go take a look at that one. Thanks. Right. So, while they're doing that, Todd, you have something?
Huh?
You gonna do this?
I want to make sure she was careful before.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I do have a question. So you spoke about you had sponsors. What type of costs are these sponsors covering at the moment?
Sponsors.
You said the Kennedy Center was sponsoring you guys, I believe.
Oh, by sponsor, I just mean like they're donating for a route.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not getting monetary like sponsorship.
Okay. What support is the Honors College giving you?
Sorry?
The Honors College, what type of support are they giving you?
They are covering the gaps. So they currently haven't actually committed to anything.
Okay.
But they are also giving us the red carpet, which is why that's not part of our decorations. And they're giving us anything that we didn't finish using from last year. So we have some flutes from last year as well, and some other things, and we expect attendance to be more, which is why we re-requested a lot of them. And so we're also setting up more tickets this year, so the maximum room capacity is actually 320 from what I saw online. So we made our ticket count up to 320 this year, and so that's what we will be using the extra decorations for, to account for the increase in attendance.
Are there any additional questions for the organization? If not, we're going to enter a period of discussion. Discussion is only for finance board members to discuss. If you have a clarifying point you'd like to make, please raise your hand, and I may or may not call upon you. Finance board members, if they have a clarifying question, I may call upon them to ask you. Are there any people, any person who would like to begin this discussion? Glad to start calling on people is the question. Tanya just filed an abstention. Like, you want to clarify, does an abstention mean they cannot participate in the discussion? No? Okay.
I thought it was I mean, I would start with saying that I think basic comments fees are necessary for this thing to happen. Personally, I think in terms of like food or the decorations, I know we're having some discussions on that. I think since it is like an open event and then like they are making the effort to like advertise it, I mean, I think I would be in favor of funding the decorations because they said they are like reusing some of the stuff. They're just getting stuff that like is necessary for like the table and decorations. And the food is at a reasonable cost, I think. I know someone had said something about limited funding.
So, I mean, I can speak on that. For me, I think that the fact that the event is open to the general public satisfies the general commons fees, setup fees, etc. However, I do not feel that it does justify decorations or food. In this current case, I don't understand why the utilization of the student dollar to assist organizations which have limited membership in fulfilling their own organizational purpose and goals. I don't think it's a wise utilization of the student dollar.
So are you planning to cut?
I would cut food and I would cut decorations.
So totally strike.
Huh?
So strike?
Yeah, totally strike those. And then I've offered them the setup, audio, visual marketing, housekeeping, ticket staff, and security.
So what was that? You want to strike the decorations and the food?
Yep.
Just as a comment on that, there is discrepancies or like not matching what's listed in the budget versus what has been submitted from the expensive. It was actually just recently updated, the event planning form, and that looks different.
We were told that we were able to update it after we had submitted it, so that's probably what the updates are.
Okay, yeah, I believe you. It's just, have you had your safe meeting yet?
Yeah, we did, and that's why we're updating it, because they told us in the safe meeting that we could update it.
Okay, why am I seeing something for a safe meeting tomorrow?
Because they also double booked us.
And so I actually got an email today, I think, from Brent saying that we don't have to that's over there. Yeah, okay, great.
Okay, so the ones in the event planning form are the correct number.
Not these numbers.
Yeah, so the thing that needs to change is the audio The audiovisual is 300, not 358. The setup is the same. The marketing was still at 200. I don't know if that had changed. From what I saw from the older event planning form and from this one, it stayed at 200. Housekeeping is at 250, so it's the same. Ticket staff is at 160 as opposed to 135. And yeah, so
Security.
Security is at 153 here.
And gyrations food is the same, or food is.
What was that?
Is the food number changed? 'Cause it said
This is just
That's not listed in the event planning form. I was just talking about the comments you used. So some of it's the same, some of it's changed.
Brad, can you read those all off just one more time, just on your list?
Setup is 276.50. Audiovisual is 300. Security is 153. Marketing is 200. Housekeeping is 250, and ticket staff is 160.
Thank you.
While Tori gets us a number, are there any other discussion points on the current number?
So I'm just clarifying for minutes of anything, you said that your standpoint was due to the limited funding or the other aspect of the event?
So for me, the event does provide a dance, and it is open to the general UBC public. Yes, it certainly is. However, I do not see how we would justify the utilization of the student activity fee to assist an organization in achieving its purpose, right, or its mission statements when membership to these organizations is limited to a select member group on campus.
Can I clarify to that?
Yep,
So the Honor College does accept students even after the initial application cycle. And while I did say that our member goals are to help the UBC, help the general community, the UBC community as a whole should also, and it does have this philanthropic aspect to it. And so it's an opportunity for all UMBC students to engage in philanthropy and in a welcoming environment, and where it's almost like these organizations have seemed so lofty and daunting to people that they want, it's like they don't feel comfortable coming, but we want to make this an event where there is food and things that relate to the general public. Say they can't relate to medicine or Phi Delta Epsilon or being in the honors college, they can relate that, oh, there's food and music and other things here that make this like a red carpet event. It looks like a red carpet event, I want to go to that. And so that's what, when I addressed the questions, because she directly asked what our goals were, and that's why I answered in response to that, but that's not to say that the UMBC community itself is not benefiting from these aspects of this event.
Sure.
So yeah, as Kevin said, our organizations are, in their names, catered towards specific groups, but the purpose of our events, specifically for Johns Hopkins Miracle, not for Johns Hopkins, the Children's Miracle Hospital, whenever we have these events, I hear UMBC students being I was a miracle child, I went to Johns Hopkins and such, and having a event that is for this charity is what I think is pretty critical and one of our most defining points.
Are there any other discussion points about finance board members?
Do you feel like we should maybe, instead of striking, we cut a percentage?
Can you repeat that?
Huh?
I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
Do you feel like we should do a cut out a percentage instead of just totally striking it? Because I understand their point when it comes to food and decorations.
Decoration guide percentage or something?
Yeah, food and decorations.
And decoration.
I'm still in favor of cutting both.
Cutting both?
Yeah. I think the UMBC body is supporting them sufficiently by offering them close to $1,500 in everything else that they're currently requesting. And I feel that if we have to think about how every single other organization coming in here, well, they may, I fully agree, philanthropy is a wonderful thing for the UMBC campus to be pursuing. However, should it be coming from the UMBC student body's dollar? That's the question. I'm sorry, I'm going to allow the board to speak as well.
timetable point?
I don't know, that's a good question. Is there any, I'm sorry, my memory's failing me. Is there a role of education in this event? To like educate about the miracle trial? Can you elaborate
So
on that?
the speakers that we're speaking with Johns Hopkins, they're going to be speaking about children's miracles, miracle hospitals, and again, Johns Hopkins in particular. And in our like room that we set up with the raffle prizes, we'll have information about Johns Hopkins, how to get involved, things of that nature. So, basically, yes.
So,
Should not really.
yeah, all right.
Thanks for nominating Daniel.
Cecilia, Kunal, Zane, Carl, we're gonna go down the line.
I just want to make it a clarification real quick for both of you. A lot of this discussion is coming from that both of your organizations are limited funding groups. So I'm not sure if you're both aware of that, but in your constitutions they're listed as limited funding groups. So a lot of that conversation is circled around that.
Okay. It's just that like I also spent like several hundred in personal money despite having been given everything last year.
Right, I was just clarifying that these are both limited funding groups, so that's why some certain precedents have to be set.
Okay, thank you.
I don't wanna strike it down, like, I see what you're saying, Daniel, and like, I'm kinda like in the middle, cause I see what you're saying, but at the same time, because I know what you're saying for, like, you have to set a standard for all the other limited funding groups that are gonna come, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, I see what they're saying and how it will benefit the whole, student body, so I would rather, like Kunal said, maybe set a percentage of what we will cut, instead of striking it down completely.
Kunal?
I mean, I agree. I think if we're cutting at a percentage, we are treating them like a limited funding organization. I feel like totally striking them would kind of make it a fallback for them to do this event to what he said his goal was, actually like charity gala, red carpet type situation. So I feel like maybe cutting at a percentage part of that.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with Cecilia and Kunal. So I'm just concerned about like totally like striking it or saying like we're only gonna like support. Like I understood the fair minimum argument, but I'm just concerned that like although this is a limited funding organization, this is like an open event for the public and it's like encouraging the UBC body to participate in this, but it's also like I'm not really sure whether like your connection is to like they're also trying to reach their goals as a student organization, and I don't really want to like kind of like push that to the wayside. I mean, they are a limited funded organization because of their membership, but I just want to like make sure that we're like giving support that we can for them to obtain their goals. And I think what we said about like food decoration, I think it's important, and I think a cap set or a percentage would be helpful.
Okay. Carly?
So I've been thinking, I don't quite know how I feel about food yet, because I'm also thinking if we don't fund the food, then what are people going to be doing there for 2-3 hours? Also, like, in terms of like the decorations and wanting to kind of cut back, like I'm in favor of cutting some of the decorations, seeing as like I think they're a little extravagant or kind of like maybe should be covered by the student dollar. In terms of the food though, I understand that they're a limited funding organization. And it is a charity event. I don't know, I'm kind of for funding the food and at least some of the decorations. Like I'd be in favor of like going through the decorations being like, no, or whatever. Because I think the more money, I know they're limited funding, but like the purpose of our job is to give out as much money to organizations. So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Scott?
I really like the purpose of this event, but I don't think it's the place of the student body.
Okay. All right. So currently we have 3 members in favor of, with a percentage, correct? Susina, Kunal, Zane, Carly.
I don't know what percentage.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, for the organization,
Okay.
do either of your organizations collect dues?
We do. Our dues are $60 per member, and they mostly go towards funding events like this, which is like where like backtrack a little bit. They do go towards funding like fundraisers, for philanthropy, like all of that is out of our pocket. So whatever funding that we present. We have 43 members right now, so.
So 43 for 60.
Drawing solids is not collectives.
Alright. So how would we like to proceed, Finance Board?
Decorations first.
But we haven't decided.
We haven't decided on what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah,
What's the next
that's what
step?
I'm
saying, like straw poll.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought you meant like.
Straw poll, let's do straw poll each line item. Straw poll each line item. For the two in contention.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Alright, so all those, option A for food would be to fund food at a certain amount to be determined. Option B would be to strike food. All those for option A, please raise your hand.
Can you repeat A and B? I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Can we say like option blank to blank?
Option A
Okay.
is to fund food at a certain amount. Ready for option B? Option B is to strike food.
Thank you.
Okay. All those for option A, please raise your hand now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very well. All those for option B, please raise your hand now. 2. Okay, so now for the topic of food, how would you guys like to move about food among the 4 who would like to fund it?
I mean, I think you guys know.
I mean, I'll be voting against this one. Yeah, it's just like, I can moderate that way you guys want to do it.
It's just us.
Yeah, it's for you guys to decide.
I mean, that would be $10, so that's fair.
Okay. Fully funding of food is what you guys will be moving for?
Did you say fully? Yeah.
It's like $10, because it's $10.
Yep. Okay, Kunal is against the full funding of food. Well, it's 3-1 right now, Kunal.
No.
I mean,
Kunal, what would you like to see for food?
What would you?
I can speak for them.
if we fully fund food at this point right now, I say we fund it at 2%.
Okay.
Oh, we fund it at 50%.
Right.
So that's.
Okay, so you gotta have a majority to pass, unfortunately.
Yeah, so
How would you like to move forward on this one?
I'll lead with the coke.
We can do a straw poll on 50%.
Okay. Among the 4, I mean, Scott, how will you be voting for this request? How do you think you'll be voting for this request?
I don't think I'll be voting in favor.
Yeah, I'll be voting against as well, so it's up to
So
the
it's
board.
3 to it's
Request.
Yeah, or request? Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, we strike, it's just like,
and it's already 3 to 1, so
it's already 3 to 1, so you all need to decide how you want to do this one. Unless, so if they voted for fully funded, would you vote for it?
yeah, I guess I'm
Okay, so we'll keep it at fully funded then.
Okay.
Alright, decorations. How would you guys like to move forward on this one?
Should we go line by line item?
Line item by line item, go all the way down, you know?
Do you want me to open the envelopes?
I don't think we're good. So we'll go line by line. Tablecloths. All those 4.
Almost 7.
And I'll be voting against. So, any kind of request, that's up to you 4.
I mean, this is expensive, it's $95 for 10. Oh, well, the things that I'm most like concerned about, I guess, are like, the rose petals are super cheap, I'm for that, but artificial roses on top of having rose petals, like, that's an extra $33 that is. I know what they said it's for like the base and the centerpieces and stuff, I just feel like,
I guess maybe those roses could be used.
I don't know.
Should we do a point of reference?
About what? The use of the roses, they said they're gonna put them in the I don't have any computers about that.
Oh, I thought you said, oh, okay.
I don't think we should. Maybe we can cut artificial roses.
Yeah.
So you have, so Christina, how do you feel about artificial roses?
do you feel like we need them, or they need them?
I may have written this down wrong, so so I'm gonna say what I have written down, and if that's okay, I'd like to just clarify.
Go ahead.
So what I had initially was that the artificial roses were supplements in the event that the petals were not funded, is that correct?
Yes.
And then the vases were for the lights and with the filler underneath.
Okay.
So that's separate.
Right.
Oh, so,
Yeah.
so then, yeah, I would think like maybe rose petals and not the artificial roses.
Yeah.
Cool.
So 33.76. We'll cut that.
I think the base, photo booth props is needed.
Okay.
Do you feel like we should photo booth props?
No, I mean, having a photo booth, a normal thing now. It's fine. That shouldn't be too much
So, vase filler.
So do you want to look at numbers that are like a little bit out of the ordinary? Like a little bit like,
Yeah, I was looking at more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, just like tablecloths, like that just seems a little pricey, and then like.
well, it's
Yeah.
it's 10 of them for $9 each.
Oh wait, that's right.
They're linen tablecloths.
That can be reused.
Yeah, they can be reused, and it makes sense to
So
have
is
that
that
as well.
equipment?
Remember, that's technically not within our jurisdiction to think about. Finance board considers all allocations as a one-off unless previously reviewed by the equipment committee. Reusability does not play a factor.
Okay.
Right.
So no artificial roses.
So like mentally.
Okay. Photo booth props, you guys said yes. Vase filler. How were you feeling about vase fillers?
Seems fine.
Fine.
I guess, yeah, if we
Okay.
want, if we
Just
buy
goes into
bases.
the-
Alright, vase filler's fine. Short string lights.
That's fine.
That's fine.
I mean, it's okay.
If we're thinking this as like a limited funding organization and we're actually gonna make cuts to the decorations, we should think which decorations we're seeing as like excessive or like we don't need to fund out of the student dollars.
So we confirm artificial roses.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Also,
Plastic vases, I feel the price is a little on the high end, but I feel like it's the centerpiece.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
It's okay. The plastic vases are like the centerpiece, even though it's a high price.
I guess you could cut the lights then. I mean, that's only $22 pass. So, is that supposed to funding to provide that?
like the champagne flutes, I know they're also being used as cups, but like, I don't know, I just feel like it's
Oh.
like, I know they're plastic, but like also like, should I be using a student dollar? I'm saying it's $50.
Yeah.
Organizations to clarify point. Do you mind if I see you? Okay.
So like, to be honest, like if you guys were to cut the vases, I'd be completely okay with that. I would just repurpose some of the flutes as a centerpiece. Okay,
So, would you like to just cut the artificial roses and the plastic vases and call it a day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Alright. Tori, could you give us a new total?
Yes.
Thank you.
Math was
Just to clarify, you're cutting artificial roses
Yep.
and
last price.
Yep.
vases. Do you want me to include the total with just decorations or
Total. As well as the decorations if you would. So that we can create a new line item for it.
the new, what's it called, commons fees were, $1,339.50, just so you know. $1,339.50.
Okay.
Yep.
Can you go through all of the numbers individually, not the like, with the leaves and the things, but like each number individually again? Setup, audio, marketing, housekeeping, quick test, security, food.
$231.47.
200. What?
231.47 cents.
31.47. Okay.
Do you want it broken down for common fees?
Yeah.
Setup was $276.50. Audio $300. Security $153. Marketing $200. Ticketing $160. And whichever I'm missing is $250.
Security.
No, it's
Housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
Housekeeping is, wait, hold on.
That might not be correct because I wrote the numbers down real quick as Carly was saying.
Housekeeping.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So do we have a new total?
No, I don't, I still don't.
What's food?
250.
I'm sorry, y'all. Setup $276.50, audio visual $300, marketing $200,
Ticket staff, 160.
ticket staff $160, housekeeping was
$250.
$250.
Security $153.
I have a total of $1,820.97.
93.
97.
97. Okay.
You don't have minutes, great.
So the new total is $1,820.97. Is there a motion on the floor?
How many?
97. Okay.
Second.
Alright. All those in favor of approving Honors College Council for the amount of $1,820.97, please raise your hand now. 1, 2, 3, 4. All those against? 2. All those abstaining? 1. Okay. Honors College Council, you've been allocated $1,820.97. So Carly will talk to you about next steps, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about whatever, anything, please let her know. She'll relay that to us. Thank you again for coming back.
Thank you.
Best of luck for that.
Yeah, I can't. Voted against that. Alright. Well, let's move into LSU. Right. Okay. LSU. Welcome to the Finance Board.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, you guys can go sit over there if you'd like to. Yeah, so you guys can see the screen.
Yeah, that would work.
Does your org go by LSU or no?
We prefer LGBT.
Okay, great.
Well, someone lied to us.
Someone also lied to me, so.
Okay. There's a liar in the groups.
Not in this group.
Not in this group.
Yeah,
Okay. We'll find them and we'll get rid of them.
End them. No, live stream. We're not ending anyone.
Where's it on?
It's fine. It's on.
We're working on it.
Zane had to go into the bathroom.
Good job.
Banyo.
You know,
Okay.
we're gonna
Alright,
have
yes,
our
let's do the conversation. Zane has to
really
be.
good cover. That's fine.
There you go. We can take them a little bit. That's not your correct budget form?
It's on the budget.
Did you send it? Okay. This morning. Okay. Well, we'll wait for Carly to get back here and she'll see what she can do for you.
Is it correct?
Are there other budget forms in there?
I'm gonna look into the.
Documentation for the region.
Is it documentation?
It's just on the event.
Oh. We should have.
No, I also sent that.
This morning?
No, that was before.
Alright. So Finance Board, we're in that weird spot where like we technically need to be able to review all the documentation before the meeting starts. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we sent like the screenshot of.
It was sent. Well, the idea is that we're able to review it.
I mean, the DJ price was listed in there on a line item, right? So
so it would just be
We
whether
just
or not
need
It
it
was
was
in the event planning form and the allocation request.
Right.
Yeah, if it's in both, it's no big issue.
They probably have to say we review it, you
Yeah.
know, perfectly fine, it's not their fault.
Yeah. Okay.
We go back to the audience.
Yeah, well, we're gonna pop Carly.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Carly. Not Carly. You're not Carly.
Carly, you look different.
I changed. Thank God. Oh.
Ouch. Yeah.
I don't have kids, as long as you show up on time.
Hey, Carly. Hey, Carly.
Hello,
So,
Carly.
the organization said they sent you a new allocation request form. Got any idea?
Today?
This morning.
I sent it this morning.
I think you did send me, I haven't really checked on my email from today. No, I sure I have it, I just need to look at it.
And the DJ contact previous to today.
No, it's some random stuff.
Yeah, they left.
You're not cheddar. This isn't the championship cover one.
Like, it's gonna be like all these things, and that's probably the last thing I said.
Okay. So I remember getting that email.
Hello, come in.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you guys?
Where'd you have orders?
I don't think I see it anywhere.
Grab a paper and marker.
Oh yeah,
And write your first name really big.
Why do we get black?
What were you
Well, you can Can you try on the black paper? Probably you.
Can we call another no competency as Lassie? Put it in the wrong paper.
my pictures of
What are we going to do reference?
What are you talking about?
Now, can you bring up the,
What are you talking about?
Yeah, we want assets.
For what? Not updated, but.
I know, I have one in front of me and want to see what's different. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, I just.
Like, it just says put it in your head.
Why are you
Why are you waiting for
That was in the diagram, or, oh, from the planning form.
Yeah.
Alright, so, where are we?
We are in the process
Waiting for all
of
the documents to get ready.
discovering a user requested.
I'm pretty sure we're mainly waiting on a contract, correct, for the DJ?
I thought
That's
there's-
for, that's
One, and then you budget request.
No, we're waiting for the new, yeah, but this is wrong.
Okay.
No, but isn't there the DJ listed on for yours? Is that, okay,
They're trying to
That's
get-
like a question.
okay.
Okay.
Can we start with introductions in the meantime?
Sure. Okay, well, first thing up, welcome to Finance Board. We're in a little bit of disarray right now, but we'll get to you shortly. But you guys should have received a list of questions beforehand.
Both organizations.
Well, both organizations, but at the current moment, we're focusing on to LGBTQ. I'm sorry. I want to call you guys LSU. I'm trying to stop myself from doing that.
You can both.
No,
Sorry.
no, you got
It is
you don't want the other one. I'm calling you the other one. Right. But so Scott here will be asking you
We're
questions.
recording live, by the way. Sorry, what's that?
Oh, yeah, we're like, sorry, just over, it's like a public meeting, so.
There's conversation about it. I'm sorry, I had to decide what I apologize.
Okay. Well, you know. So let's try this again. Welcome to Finance Board. Scott's going to ask the questions. He's going to introduce himself, and then we're going to go clockwise. Scott, this is your spot.
Hello, I'm Scott, Finance Board Representative, pronouns Dina.
Sorry, I'm Tori, usually an advisor, she goes.
Sina, Finance Board Representative, pronouns she, her.
Hi, my name's Tanya, I'm Vice Chair of the Finance Board. I may ask you to repeat things since I'm taking minutes, she, her pronouns.
Candace Martinez, Gallon Assistant Director for Leadership and Governance, she, hers.
Hal Sullivan, President of SGA.
Kunal, Finance Board Representative, pronouns he, him.
I'm Daniel, I'm the current chair of the Finance Board, I use he, him pronouns.
Hi, I'm Zane. I'm the Vice President for Student Organizations.
Hi, I'm Carly, the SGA President, she, her pronouns. Hi, I'm Destiny, I'm the Financial Director of the LGBTQ Student Union, and I use they, them, she, her pronouns.
Hi, I'm Shannon. I'm Social Membership Director of the LGBTQ Student Union. I use she, her, they.
Hi, I'm Tom Platter. I'm the Executive Director of the LGBTQ Student Union. I use he, him, or they, them pronouns.
I'm Jamie. I am Secretary/Public Relations Chair for Engineers Without Borders, and I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Anita. I'm the Treasurer for Engineers Without Borders, and I use she, her pronouns.
Hi, I'm Patricia DeMassi. I'm the President of Engineers Without Borders, and I use she, her pronouns.
Scott, get a roll.
You guys tell us a little bit about your organization.
So we're the LGBTQ Student Union. We are a group that focuses mainly on advocating for the LGBTQ community on campus. We also provide social functions, gatherings, and meetings for the LGBTQ community, but anybody is welcome. We accept anybody as a member, allies, really anybody that has interest in the LGBTQ community is welcome. We have 3 meetings a week. And our largest meetings sometimes get up to 40 people in attendance. We have large events every semester, usually one large event per semester. For the fall is usually the fall formal, and in the spring we have our drag show. But in between those events we have smaller social events and also advocacy programming that we do. We do a lot of fundraising and charity work. We do volunteer work. I think for this semester we're planning on going to Patapsco Valley State Park and helping do trail maintenance and litter cleanup. Is there anything anybody else would like to add?
Yeah, all of our events and socials and like volunteer work is open to anybody in the public. We try to advertise on as much as we can online in the city and other advertising tools.
Okay. Can you please elaborate a little bit more on this event?
On the fall formal? So this is an event that we put on every year. I don't know off the top of my head exactly how old it is. Last year, though, we changed the name from the queer prom to the fall formal because I thought it was silly to have a prom in the fall. But basically, the concept behind the event, a lot of LGBTQ people don't really have the opportunity to attend their prom or have that like special moment. So this is like to make up for that with new friends, people who accept you in a loving atmosphere. It's really just a night to cut loose, have fun, enjoy the people you're with. And yeah.
How did you come to your number of attendance for the fall form?
Based off of last year's numbers, I believe we had around 150. But this year, our membership count has skyrocketed. So we projected a little bit higher. I don't know what the maximum number in the ballroom is, but I don't think we're going to fill the ballroom, but we should have a good amount of people. And people will definitely be bringing people from outside of the university. Yeah, so we welcome as many people as they want.
primary sources of funding are under maybe?
So right now we have maybe funding from the Gender and Women's Studies Department and maybe from the Mosaic Center. And we say maybe because last year they had committed to help with funding, but this year we haven't really gotten through to anybody.
Yeah, at the moment nothing's fully confirmed with either of those departments, so that's why it's under me still. So.
How did you choose the vendor for food?
It's a caterer that has been on campus before, and a lot of students know about this. Like a lot of students know like this caterer.
Taste of Aloha is well known among students who used to go to a restaurant that they had in Arbutus, but ever since they had the kitchen fire and had to close, I feel like people have been missing that presence, and it's really good food. It's
What role do decorations play in your event?
the decorations.
They're mostly like to fit our theme. So this year's Sweet Escape, so we're trying to get a lot of pastilles and candy. So we're kind of just asking for a couple of things, and then everything else will probably come out of our carryover. But we're just the ones that are possible.
The photo walls for memories.
Yes. For us to do, but for everybody else.
Is the DJ a student?
The DJ is not a student. The DJ is a member of the LGBTQ community, well known around DC, I think.
Yeah.
Has performed, or not performed, but has provided services for other large-scale LGBTQ-centered events. Is there anything?
And how has this event gone in the past?
Usually it's been really successful. I think in the past, attendance has exceeded expectations. We have photos from last year of people just absolutely beaming. It's a really
last year was like the highest numbers like since for a while, and then this year we have a lot of new members in our club, so we expect that number to go even higher. So I just want to do the best I can for this one.
I'll throw it back to you, Daniel.
Is it on the back? There's more questions.
No, I think we're good. All right. So, if there are any additional questions for the organization, please say them now.
I had a question about if there's a contract for the DJ. Was that sent?
That was the contract form was sent. I did send you like a screenshot of the form that we sent out.
In email?
Yeah, it's the same email where I sent the
Oh, was it okay? Because I added everything into the.
I think that was missed out. I did send that like directly afterwards, but I got that a little late.
Can I get a refresher drive?
I thought it was this.
Oh, is it?
It has to be updated budget. The second question I had is your setup 115 or 155? Because I saw on the event one it was 155.
Oh yeah, that's what changed. It was 155.
Okay.
I thought I fixed it on there. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Food also changed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the food also.
It's now that one, 1729.40.
Wait, what was the setup?
155.
Yeah, so that's 155.
Wait.
There's 4,000.
Sure. Are there any additional questions for the organization?
Did I not be updated?
Refresher drive into this.
That's usually
Can you just give like a rundown from like start to finish of how the event works?
So we usually open doors around, I think 7:30 is when we have our starting time. And
7.
Is it 7?
Yeah, well,
No.
yeah.
Well,
Doors
the DJ is
open.
usually
Doors
7.
open
Around like
at
7:15.
Yeah. And when like everybody's filed in, stage, give a little talk about the LGBTQ student union and how far we've come as a group. And then we hand it over to the DJ and music starts. People can grab food as they want. And it's usually people are free to come and go as they please. The music keeps going until 11. And it's just a fun environment.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for the organization?
It's the $5.99 for the photo wall. Where is that price coming from?
That's coming from the, I think it's in the drive, yeah,
Two
that's,
over. There you go.
So are you getting 2 yards?
Oh, no, we're getting 1 yard. I think it says 2 in the scripture.
So is it
$4?
It's $4.
There was an extra, like, when I originally put in that the extra $5.99.
Is it because of shipping or something?
Yeah, the extra.
So are you asking, are you picking it up or are you shipping it?
We're planning on shipping it.
Okay. Alright.
But that's not the documentation that is present.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm just asking.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's a discussion point.
I don't think it would be an issue to go pick it up. I don't think we need it shipped.
It's, so technically speaking, the finance board can only vote on the documentation that is currently has present. As this one says $4, we can't just say, alright, we'll just give you 6 then.
Right.
Because well, we'll take your word for the shipping, it's like it doesn't really flow very well for us.
Right.
But if we go back to legit, okay. Are there any other issues with the allocation request? Further questions for the organization? If not, we'll move into a period of discussion.
Candace, I
Candace.
have a question.
Yep.
So the contract form is filled out, but do you have a quote from your DJ? Like, I mean, a quote from your DJ that says, hey, this is how much I'm charging you.
We do have like the email communication that we had with that DJ that confirmed the price. What was in the contract form?
Did they give you that? No, we used email.
Yeah, we received those.
So that's not what that is, that's a picture of the form they filled out.
Oh.
Which is not, right, like, these are pictures of the form they
Yeah.
filled out.
It's not bad for
That's not
communication.
something from the, yeah, I thought it was
Send
one.
in, the email conversation.
Yeah, I can
Before
slide
the
a shot of that. Yeah, I have it right here. So.
Yes. You will need to, yeah, in order for them to get paid though, they will need to give you an invoice. There's a state fee like that.
Okay, can we vote on
Let's go
that?
ahead and let's do it.
Alright, well done. Are there any other questions for the organization? If not, we'll move into a period of discussion. During this session, only finance board members may speak. However, if the finance board member has a question for you, I may call upon them to ask it to you. If you have a point of clarification you'd like to bring up, raise your hand and I may call upon you. So, standard fees, commons fees, I don't think we'll see any issues for that, so we'll knock out setup on individual security, marketing, housekeeping, ticket staff, and all of those are knocked out. So food is $1,729.40. Can someone, Kunal, could you open up the other one saying the estimated attendance? It's 100. 100? Yeah.
That's what I have on the request form.
UMC students.
Oh, 100.
150, 100? Asking a clarifying question, is this the correct attendance?
That looks like it was the correct estimate.
Okay. Alright. So, following previous precedent of $10 head maximum for an event covering a single meal period, will we move at that to $1,000 allocated?
That's 150 including extra, so it's just 100.
I'll apologize. As the student dollar you pay in through your tuition goes to support UMBC students. It doesn't make sense for us to allocate money to people who don't go here. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So we'll strike that to 1,000. No, put it please. On the side.
Yeah, because they requested that, you want to make a note of what you're
Right there, 1,000. Right.
Is there tax included in it?
Because they're getting
Oh, yeah,
1,000
right,
flat,
right,
it doesn't
right,
matter.
right,
Yeah. Okay. Then we need to go into the contract. We see no issue. We fund DJs on very often. Carly, you got the email?
Yeah, I put it in the
Okay.
drive.
And
You wanna know?
just make sure, just take a look at it, make sure it says 500. All right, flat 500. Flat 500 is fine. Wonderful. DJ L stacks. Is that a little or L?
It's L.
Okay.
Hold on, yeah,
Okay.
DJ, L.
Okay, so go back to that. I don't see an issue with that. Now we need to talk about balloons, photo wall, cups, plates, and utensils.
I don't think we talk about cups because they're
It's green friendly.
Yep, it's green friendly. We encourage that significantly, though we don't often enforce it, but for you guys, we do appreciate that, so I see no issue with that. Photo wall and balloons, no large issues.
yeah.
Yeah.
My bad.
You're good. Good to improve.
You gotta get it on out first.
After all the money.
Don't rush the process.
After all the money.
Okay,
Dana.
process.
Respect the process.
I do respect
I
the
love
process.
democratic norms.
You should.
Alright, so Candace or Tori, can you guys give us a new amount?
We can just put 1,000 in
The only difference is you took 1,000 off, right?
Yep.
No,
we
you
no, we
took
took
7,000.
29,000 off.
I meant, we kept 1,000, sorry,
Okay.
I just said it wrong. 3,000.
No, the photo wall,
Everything's
$4.
Yeah, it would be $4.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so minus $1.99.
I don't trust myself to do that math, so.
I got $3,344.91.
I got 3,074.31.
I don't know how you got that.
It's all
Can we just replace these?
Yeah, no, okay, literally just drag it over.
I
and then
literally,
something.
that's what I did.
Okay.
Oh, like right now.
No, Kunal, you know how to use Excel, please don't do this to me. Okay, sorry, you have a clarifying point?
No.
Go
on the winner
Guys, the organization doesn't make a second. Please pay attention.
About the expected attendance, my financial director just noticed a discrepancy on the event planning form with the other form that was brought up. On the event planning form, it says expected amount for university students is 120 and the external students is 30.
Yeah, it
Okay.
kind of sets better with how many came last year.
Right. Carly, can you double check what happened?
Oh, the form?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the planning form, I just told Tori.
Alright. So, will we use that number of 120? Is the board fine with that?
Yeah.
Increase? We're fine. Increase it to 1,200, please. Wonderful. Okay.
Nice.
Now it's 4,000
No,
cents now.
no, so that's,
It's for the
Okay, so
request.
you're gonna go on the right column, just highlight all of it. Okay, go down, highlight all of it. Okay, and then sum is $3,544.91. Okay, is there a motion on the floor? Yes, you can. Is there a second? Okay. There's a motion to approve LGBTQ student union for the amount of $3,544.91. All those for? Okay. 774, 0 against, 0 abstaining. You've been funded for the amount of $3,544.91. Carly will talk to you about next steps. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the entire process getting here, please let Carly know, and we'll make sure to try and remedy those. Once again, thank you for the finance board. I go for the agenda.
Daniel.
8:05.
Engineers that were informed me they have a presentation.
They have a presentation. Okay. Could you tell her to send it to me?
Okay.
Or if you can do it up here. Yeah.
I just.
I can share it
You
on.
can do it incognito tab up here if you want to pull up on your other account.
Well, what's up right there? That would be fine. Just share it. I mean, it just be fine.
Either or, you know, it's just like whatever you feel is comfortable.
Okay, who should I share it to?
Okay, zwang4 at umbc.edu.
I like that.
Okay,
Good,
cool.
good mail.
Sounds good as Carl. Good at email?
Yep, I love email.
It's
Hold on. Oh, I'm signed out of there.
Just kidding.
Or not. Okay. Don't look at my stuff.
I won't.
Put your hands away.
It's on the one street.
Don't look at my stuff.
Most of those emails from me.
I wish I read, not on.
Everything on my email is I hope you enjoyed your 1 month tenure on this business.
You're too much.
I have a
Call a meeting tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Morning about it for this meeting.
I feel like Tori is the official.
Victoria, have I seen
The schedule looks quite good.
I'm sorry?
Have I
I haven't heard, I haven't heard anything either, so I usually get pretty good track. It's the Mountain Dew jar.
Yeah, because I can't stop freezing.
I sure can.
My favorite pastime.
What?
Yeah. All right, you can go back now and see if Trump is easy. There it is. Open it up. Great.
You guys,
All right. Would you like to come up?
do you want me to
I
handle
don't want to do
slides,
this.
or?
I've seen that. Yeah, we can come up. You can, Will, you can point
Do
it.
we just,
Yeah.
just give them the signal and I can just.
I need to stand up though.
As soon as you
I
get
don't know how to present sitting down.
Stay where you are. It's up to you.
I was gonna sit, but now I feel like if you're sitting, I have to
Oh, I
stand.
feel you. That's it.
You're gonna get your back nice into the camera.
Oh, the camera. I can sit down.
It's up to you guys.
It's like we're in the office. Okay.
Give it a rush.
You can start it whenever.
First of all, we need to do
So,
welcome
yeah.
to finance board. I didn't give you all this either. All right. So we're gonna finance board. The data it's full of love and kindness. All right. Welcome to finance board. Your organization should have received questions beforehand. I want to confirm you guys got that.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. So today, Zane will be asking the questions, and we'll begin the introduction starting with you.
Yeah. They were in here.
Yeah, do you guys feel you need another introduction, or you're good? All right, they're good. We don't need any more introductions.
They're gonna do it.
Yeah, they're gonna do
PowerPoint might address some of the
Yeah, that's
questions.
what
that's what
Yeah,
I'll do
yeah.
it first.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Give it
Yeah, I
a-
don't know.
We'll give it another minute.
My understanding was, I thought it was like, that's what you're paying with, so that's what you wanted done. I didn't realize that. Who cases last year?
Why did I need finance?
Oh, so by the way, for our costume, for October 30th, I'm ready to SSC.
I will be.
By the way, everyone must come in costume on October 30th.
What do you want to
It's not even gonna be Halloween.
Doesn't matter.
So,
Close enough.
by the end of this week. Yeah,
Also, the organization must also come in costume for us. So, but we're here.
What do we call it? The question.
Dinosaur.
alright, yeah, y'all have a good night, thanks for coming out.
So much
Thanks for your
easier.
patience.
Google when you go.
Carly, you ready?
Oh yeah, that's all I do.
Yes, sir. This is all of me.
All right. So you're all in.
Ready to feature up.
All right. So the organization has a presentation. Would you like to begin?
Yeah. So we're Engineers Without Borders. I'm here the treasurer of the organization, and our chapter started at UMBC in 2008, and it's an international organization that started in 2000, but the one at UMBC started in 2008, and since then we have completed, the chapter has completed a project in Kenya. It's water project, and right now we're working on another water project in Costa Rica, and we're planning to implement a second assessment trip this January. So we have 9 members on the executive board, and last year some of us went to the conference, and they felt that it was really crucial for more people to go, and like have some of us to go there. And so we're here to ask for allocation for 2 people to go, and it's gonna be cover the air flight and the lodging for 2 people. We presented the idea for the chapter, and based on the interest rate, we decided to fund 2 people. Yeah, that's our request.
Oh, that.
Okay, so the why for why we want funding for this. So we went last year, and it really like multiplied our momentum for the year. We went on our first assessment trip in, I think it was something like 4 or 5 years. We hadn't been on a trip, period, in 4 years. And so that was a really big jump starter for us. EWB is a national organization, so connecting with our national supervisors and our international program managers is really important. We were able to improve our chapter operations and optimize our project execution last year, which was like super important. Our attendees are actually going to come back and present to our chapter about what they learned, and present something that they learned that they think would be relevant to the chapter as a whole.
So we selected students based on interest. We had made a post on our social media, so our Facebook and our Twitter, as well as my UBC, basically saying we want to send students to the national conference in November. We encouraged anyone who was interested to reach out to us. And based on those interested members who did reach out, we met with them and addressed any concerns, concerns about logistics, or any questions, and then whoever was still interested at the end of that, that's who we selected to send. So for our lodging and flight estimate, we estimated the flights based off of Google Flights. So you can see on the right there, that's just like, you can't really see it, but the list of prices from Google Flights, so that's where we got our estimate for that. And then for lodging, Engineers Without Borders is offering a student rate for hotel rooms, which is $109 per night. And that's assuming we get the student discount on those rooms.
Oh yeah, we don't need to talk about this if we're over time. Oh, we're good on time. So these are some pictures from last year's conference. It was in Milwaukee, so the costs were a little bit lower. We were able to fund that based only on donations from alumni and other donors to the chapter. So we sent 2 members, one of them is me, and we met with the girl on the right. The PowerPoint's a little dark, but the girl on the right, in the right picture in the middle, is a UMBC alumni who now works for the national organization. So we networked with her a little bit, and then the guy in the middle on the left is Joby Taylor, who works for the Shriver Center. He spoke at the conference and helped us to connect with some other people at the conference. It was really fun. It was awesome. It was like tons of motivation to plan for this year's. We just are trying to save a little bit of money out of our donors' pockets so that we can fund our upcoming assessment and implementation. So Ryan Buckley, the other attendee from last year, said that it was valuable. He wishes more of our chapter would have gone. He noted specifically that students in university clubs are easily disconnected from the potential of national orgs. There are a lot of corporate sponsors that we meet and network with at this conference, which can provide us with future donations and connections for completion of our project. That's it.
All right. And I think that's pretty good.
You answers all of them?
Yeah, answers all the questions. Are there any additional questions from the board? All right, I do though. Carter though. Carter, you got questions?
I think I probably missed this actually. How many people went to the conference last year?
2.
Okay.
All right. So my question is, could you give me a breakdown of what occurs at the conference?
Yes. Okay. So let me pull it up really quick. So our conference is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that's a big issue for us because we can't get students who want to skip class. We only found 2 that wanted to skip class this year and last year. So Thursday, there are some pre-conference workshops that students participate in or they can volunteer. And then there's an opening reception and a film screening, so it's mostly social because some students don't even fly in until Thursday night or Friday morning. And then Friday, there's a welcoming reception, and then there are breakout sessions. So we have a choice of like 4 presentations for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 different sessions throughout the day. There are some breaks in there. Our lunch is also our award reception, which one of our members is nominated for an award. And then around 6, they do dinner stuff and networking. And then Saturday is like pretty much the same sort of schedule, except there are poster presentations, which we hope to do next year. And there's a big closing reception.
All right, I'm going to keep on these questions though. So you talked about how do you think this benefited the chapter at UMBC by attending this conference?
So the chapter at UMBC is smaller than a lot of the other chapters in the nation, honestly. We have less engineering programs at UMBC. And less of the specific ones that Engineers Without Borders covers. So we don't have a civil program or like an electrical undergraduate program. So connecting with the other organizations gave us an idea of how chapters kind of work, which we didn't really have an idea of before. The chapter hadn't gone. And then we also learned a lot about the execution of the projects in general. So they follow a general form that is like overseen by National. And we were able to have go to some workshops last year that we directly plagiarized and used with our chapter, which was like really awesome.
All right, I'll keep down my stream though. I got a stream of thought. So like you stated, like you gave your club a lot of momentum. So like, can you elaborate on that momentum? It's just like, okay, it's kind of vague as to what momentum means, but yeah.
Do you want to take that, Jamie, or do you want me to go?
Well, I wasn't here for our last project, but since I've joined I can kind of tell. I joined fall of last semester, so I guess right around when you guys went to the conference. And even from the beginning of the semester to when they got back from the conference, it was a lot more project focused, and we got a lot more structured. Our meetings were more structured, and we were able to just get more done. And then we just kind of zoomed forward, and we're able to plan for our assessment trip and get our projects kind of finalized and figure out what we were actually doing.
Yeah, it covers it. Yeah, the chapter had kind of been struggling before that.
Okay. Are there any other additional questions for the organization?
Go.
Good choice.
Raise your hand up first. Thanks. Go ahead.
Rock, paper, scissors.
One sec. So last year when 2 of you went to the conference, did you also present to members who didn't go to the conference when you came back?
That's a new thing. So we presented some things, but we didn't require it of attendees. Does that make sense?
Okay.
All right, Tanya though. She said she wants to go. So we're going to get Scott, wait your turn.
You guys, please.
I just wanted to clarify. So is it like 2 additional members support, or like is the board also going like separately, or is it just those 2 members?
Right now it's just those 2 members.
Okay.
If we could secure funding for more, or if we had someone else who was interested, then we would be able to add them on at this point. But we submitted our allocation requests at the right time, and that was when 2 people were finalized.
All right, Scott, your turn.
Are these members new members or returning members to the conference?
Returning members.
To the conference?
One of
Like-
each. One of each, yeah.
Okay.
Returning members to the club. I've been to the conference and I'm going down.
Okay.
Jamie has not, and she's going.
All right. Are there any additional questions? If not, we'll move to a period. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was typing up the last legislation. These numbers these numbers are estimates. They have not been gotten, except for the lodging is based on the student price, correct?
They said they had limited,
But that's what you're basing it off of?
The 109
The 109. But the American Airlines tickets is off like an estimate. You didn't look at flights or
So we've been tracking the flights, and that's based on the most accurate estimate when we submitted the request. The prices have gone down since then, and any coverage of the costs that is not covered by SGA is going to be covered by an account in the engineering department. So we would have to go through them, which would likely be through a travel agent. If possible, I don't know.
Here would be through travel.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So those numbers for the airlines are confirmed, right? Candace, is that your question? Is that they're accurate?
They're not.
They're not. Oh,
It can't be.
they're not. Right.
On the bright side, they're high estimates.
Yes.
I think they're just happy to be.
So, I just want to make sure that y'all are, just for finance board, that y'all are being consistent about how you're funding travel.
Yep. All right. Shall we enter a period of discussion? All right. So during a period of discussion, all the finance board members may speak. The finance board member wishes to ask a question, I may call upon them. If you have a clarifying point, please raise your hand and I may call upon you as well. Who would like to begin? Scott.
We've funded both these things before. I think we should table this, have them go to SABSC, come back with that actual quotes next week, and then general consent.
Yeah, I think from what what was your
Patricia.
Patricia, we're saying about like, we're specifically Patricia about bringing stuff back to the conference and then giving it to the organization, I think is really important, and then connecting with the national organization as well. So I think we should full table motion and then fully fund full to our precedents for this request.
We would issue when we standard precedent of 50% for both.
Yeah.
Not fully funded.
Yeah, but I said fully fund and then to our precedent. Yeah,
I only heard that fully fund part. I was like, yeah. So finance board this year, we have set a precedent of 50% of travel, 50% of airfare, and 50% of lodging. So as the finance board is currently talking about, that would be the precedent we are going to apply. Yeah. So I am in agreement. I believe this organization should be tabled until next week. They should go to SABSC, speak to David Royer, and acquire a actual quote. Yeah. From that travel agent. So the rationale behind that is that we can't, finance board doesn't have enough knowledge to go around looking at every single flight going like, yeah, this is a reasonable number. So we're going to outsource that to someone else.
It seemed like she had a clarifying point.
I had a clarifying question.
Yep.
Okay, so I understand that American Airlines number can change. We also know that the Hyatt number can change. We won't know that until we make the actual booking. So if we're clarifying the number for next week for the American Airlines, then could we clarify the other number? Is there a way for us to clarify the other number before giving it to you guys? If that makes sense. So like right now that's based on a student discount price that are first come, first serve.
Okay.
And then it would go up to, instead of being $109 a night, which is what that is, it would go up to $149 a night.
Okay.
With potential to increase based on student occupancy. So it might be
Got it.
I think SABSC would call and find a
They
quote for
could
that,
do-
for both.
Okay.
So you would come back with actuals and we would vote on that.
So short
Awesome.
answer is yes.
Yeah.
You just get David Royer to do it.
Adjust those numbers based on what David Royer tells you.
Okay.
All right. So, is there a motion on the table? Is there a motion on the floor? Table.
Motion to table engineer for that board is still next week.
Okay. Is there a second? Second. All right. All those for, please raise your hand. 7. All those against, 0. All those abstaining, 0. So your organization will be tabled. Get all the documentation into Carly, and then next week you won't actually even need to come in. We'll have a general consent, and we'll just vote it through.
But if you really want to, you can.
Yeah. But
Wow. That's the clear.
but thank you very much for coming out to fight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your patience.
All right.
Can you put your markers in?
Oh, okay.
You have to read this all the time. Please go ahead.
I also like how y'all came in here and stuck your shirts and everything. That's good.
Okay, we have a 5-minute recess while Carly
under resource.
Also, there's like a random backpack on the floor.
Oh.
This.
Good to know. Thank you guys for John's. Is that John's? You can leave it, we'll grab it.
Thank you.
Who?
John. Ladder.
It was John. I didn't see where it was sitting. I thought it was sitting up there.
He initially was over here. I don't know if it wasn't doing over there.
Right, yeah.
Well, there's nothing over here.
Yeah, some
What up?
Do we want to message?
You sent the email?
Huh?
Email?
Yeah. Okay. And like the time limits of like submitting your request, proceedings, and like that process of sorting out the requests. You guys are pretty great about it. Okay, great, cool.
That first semester.
Yes, so,
this week, there's like somebody doing rehearsals and the next row it was so distracting. Yeah, throughout the whole lesson. I mean, they sounded great though. like, you know, like
Sunday
trying to give
from-
us like little breaks and stuff, but we just got sharing all
There we
that.
are. Sunday from 1 to 4.
yeah, I don't
Like just. No,
Yeah.
a couple hours ago.
It's there.
2 hours ago.
Thanks for taking the time. That'd be great.
Everyone knows it. They're all out there. At least you're not. She is.
Was there an email like
I'll send that to you as well. About because everyone has to know about it.
I got it.
I would recommend.
But was there an email that came out with this invite?
So it's just a general invite.
No, like, yeah.
He sent the Google Calendar invite and it came as an email.
Yeah.
People on
There it
the
is.
invite.
Yes. The calendar that you sent last week?
We don't have
I would recommend,
Everyone needs to know that. It's
Okay.
still a public meeting.
Okay, I can take care of that.
I can probably send you language from old stuff and just try.
That would be wonderful.
yeah, I think I submitted a budget form with like the prices for
I forgot. I was thinking that said
Who does? People to send
Yes.
SRC?
Yes, they have been confirmed. Second meeting.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm going to see the dog.
I'm sorry, this one meeting.
Christina, you going on Sunday?
Yeah, it's me here.
Yeah, we
You
Oh, yeah, you're right there in the email.
Right. Are there any announcements? So we end the recess?
SRC reports are due Thursday.
SRC reports are due on Thursday.
and then SRC meets when?
Sunday, 1 to 4.
Is that already
Anyone have questions regarding leadership? Anyone? Candace, I know the brain said that yet, John. Or anyone, has he talked to you yet? Because I know that Brandon and Alex had a conversation.
Wasn't you guys running like Daniel was a horrible leader?
I'll turn it
When is the flame?
The flame war.
I think that
Scott,
That can be talked about outside of this meeting.
Yeah, I was just going to go over it in case I did speak. Are you doing
Yeah, he said yes? Did he say yes on the record?
I don't have staff yet. Like they literally just got out.
No, but not even like of the executive branch.
the evaluation is they just do
Yeah,
this.
that's what I'll do. Like people that have already been on here.
Yeah.
Jesus.
State council,
No. No. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So in that case, I go over the thing since it is on the agenda.
Yes.
Okay, Kunal, I'm gonna kick you off for a minute.
No.
Don't look at me like that, I feel your eyes.
You want tomorrow?
Me?
No.
Oh, for sale, I'm like, get you. Probably be prepared.
Okay, so other thing, you all have been filling out your regular SRCs, appreciate you. So now we have this peer evaluation process as well. This is going to happen once per quarter. I warned you about this at the beginning of the semester. So you'll see each of these as being due 10-4. So the leadership evaluation will be filled out by the leadership of each body. And so what representatives will be working with is this body evaluation. So if you click this and then hit the little preview button. So you're just going to confirm that you're doing this as a body member. Select your body. That's going to be finance board. Go
Oh,
next.
you need to affirm.
And you got to affirm it. Made that one required. Okay. So basically you're only like evaluating based on things that you can see. So you have no idea how many meetings Carly has per month. Don't worry about it. So you're just going to go based on what you can observe. This is a copy of the SRC report that will be filled out for each position. This one's Daniel's, for example.
Personally attacked.
So again, like, you're not going to know when he served on the student organizations committee. Don't worry about it. So that's the thing. You're just going to give a 1 through 5 rating of, like, you don't feel like they fulfilled any of the obligations that you can see versus you think they filled all of them, of which you can see. Those that which were not fulfilled, please identify. And you're just going to do that for Daniel, myself, Zane, and Carly. And then if Zane or Carly have questions, because yours is a little different on the leadership, let me know after. Okay, that's all the time I want to take up.
Wait, so, and then leadership, wait, so it's only the body evaluating the leadership, are leaders evaluating each other?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you
Our leadership.
I thought they were evaluating us.
Yes.
So they're evaluating representatives.
Evaluate everybody.
You put in the email.
Yes. So there's also a page that's going to be sent out with everything of who is evaluating who. I will do that as soon as this meeting's over.
Okay, cool, great, that's perfect.
Okay, cool. All right.
Because, you know, I don't like reading, it's hard. So,
Well, you're gonna have to read some more.
Likely to leave, not read.
Pictures, colors.
Oh, colors.
All right, go back to that agenda.
Listen, Johnny.
All right. SSC reports are due Thursday. Do them, everyone, so you can get paid.
Oh, I have one civilian announcement. It's just more of like a curious thing. I think I asked this last week too. So I've been following the organizations and like telling them or asking them really what's been going on in the meeting, how their impressions are. So I'll take that time now to tell you what it said. Always, as always, you know, positive feedback about getting the questions and stuff. Shit, I didn't write stuff down. Oh, who was it? Mountain Dew. I don't even know Mountain Dew.
I meant to add to the Mountain Dew jar.
Oh, heck.
That one doesn't count. That's okay.
Well, moving on. So, people were pretty chill. They're like, okay, yeah, it was pretty fine. I think, who was it? That was, Honors College Council was like understanding of like, oh, okay, yeah, I see, like, I think they were just misunderstanding about like how their dues work and that, and I think they were just trying to vouch, but they appreciated like the process and getting through it quickly. No one had any really complaints about anything. Everyone's just sort of like, yeah, it was cool. That's that. But also, the other thing is, I'm not really sure what kinds of questions to be asking organizations when they leave the room. Like, I've been asking them about like, okay, yeah, like getting questions at a time, and they're all like, oh yeah, that's awesome, cool, great. And then like timeliness of like being scheduled, like their impression going into the meeting versus leaving, and they're kind of like, it's cool, I guess. So like, I don't know how to like, what kinds of questions to ask to get a little more like feedback from them or like answers out of them. So maybe if we could create like a kind of like Google Doc or something that's like, hey, these are like the questions you should ask for feedback like over the week. That would be super duper. So then I would actually like know what kind of things I should be asking them and know what kind of like or try to get a little more answers out of them, I guess.
So it's just like for this one, it's like more like in the second semester when we're cutting everything left and right, and they're not as pleased with us. Like right now, most organizations are getting the full amount, so obviously they're not going to complain. But in the future, so it's more of like a precautionary measure, so we can catch any discontent early rather than let it fester.
Right. Also, if everything goes right next week, you won't be forced to do this alone or forced to do it at all if you don't want to.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying it would be helpful to just like have all some questions so whoever, if I'm not here and you're not here and who's ever asking me questions.
I mean,
Yeah, we don't have core. Just go with it.
Like me, you, I mean,
That's all good too, right? Yeah.
So bad.
You get a 5 out of 7.
All right. Regardless, are there any other announcements?
Oh, I don't know.
The floor is yours.
So now I forget.
The floor is no longer yours.
Was it the update from how many awards?
So then we're gonna have a secretary next week, right?
Yeah, we are.
I also have something now.
Guaranteed.
Okay, I'll hold you to it.
Well, yeah, I know you don't know Tanya. Sorry.
The burrito was not as good as I thought it would be when I ate it. Not leading orders.
Is that your
And I was sad. The breakfast burrito was not up to par.
Tori's 100% done with you, yes.
Never mind.
I wasn't even out anymore, so.
I had a flat tire.
I had real life problems to deal with versus a
Yeah,
breakfast
she did.
burrito.
She
so.
did have one real life.
Regardless, are there any actual announcements?
Homecoming starts soon.
Yeah, go to that.
Oh, I know what I was going to do. Sorry. Sorry, the engine started working now.
No, stop laughing.
Oh, updates on events.
Do you have a flip pill?
I do have capabilities.
Events update. Yes, events update.
Myself and Daniel went to CSA. It was, it was very successful. They had
Play.
yeah, they had a skit about the like autumn festival. It was very intricate. And, okay, it wasn't intricate, but it was like a nice skit.
It was a nice little thing. Yeah.
They had a lot of people there. And it was well attended by like.
It was a diverse crowd.
Yeah, it was a diverse crowd, I would say. And they had
food other than the food.
yeah, that we provided, so like they were able to get funds from us personally. But yeah, and they also had like games, so it felt very educational, like teaching the culture.
You need to repeat everything you just said.
I think Tanya's doing it.
I got you. Not on that sheet, but we can copy
We
it.
can just throw it across.
Zane and I will go on to that and we'll update that later.
There you go.
Comments should be about yourselves. Yeah.
I don't have to type it.
Where's the Harvard Cafe?
Harvard Cafe is right in front. It's right in front of the front desk.
Not this one. Take the next one. There's the next one. Was there any other thing
So
else? Or
Yeah, any other events
I
occurring?
can find this one.
I think that quote is gonna have to go on my wall.
What?
The machine just started.
I think
the
that's
machine
it.
just started working again.
Joshua isn't here right now, so we'll get an update from him next week.
Wait, what is like upcoming? Just so I'm aware.
What is upcoming?
Hackathon, Comic-Con.
You can sort this by date.
Oh, sorted by date.
There's nothing next week.
Oh.
We need to update from this week.
Sort A to Z.
Oh,
Pretty.
Thanks for putting date by it.
Maybe one of us should follow up with like the essays or something.
Just,
You know,
hold on.
What to do that for?
I don't know.
and then the other person.
Oh,
Oh, the night market's coming up soon.
Okay, I refreshed it back to where it was.
Just highlight everything below it and sort of see.
Get off the computer.
Did you say you're tired? You woke up at
Why?
7 p.m.? Like,
wow.
Oh. God bless you, Candace.
I worked at 19.
I know. Did you really? Wow. I did.
Who knew?
So, the thing that coming up is Night Market, Frank Turek, Rocky Horror. I mean, that's the end of the month, so.
And then we need to update
Then we
those.
gotta update that.
What's the date for that?
I'll throw that at Joshua.
Also, guys, like Candace said to me, get your tickets for bingo if you want to go.
Bingo has been moved.
I'm working.
Where you
Bingo,
are?
It's
bingo,
free.
bingo
OMG,
has
you're
been
going?
moved to the UC ballroom.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
awesome.
it is.
Bingo and free,
It's
it's
free
free.
as of like a couple days ago.
Did you
How do you feel?
You paid for it?
I sure did not.
Zan.
No, I didn't. You should be.
I saw
You're not
it. I was like, what? I didn't pay for it.
Wait, I have an announcement.
I'll be there, but I'm working again, so.
Collins,
No.
send an announcement.
Are you
I
actually
am
working?
not
What does that mean?
Colin has an announcement.
So I sent an email to everyone that is a proposed constitutional amendment. I would greatly appreciate it if everyone set up 30 minutes of time on my calendar to discuss it so I could have a one-on-one conversation with everyone about what the policy is and why we need to amend it and what I'm looking at doing. So what I'm hoping is we can have that meeting and you're coming into the meeting with feedback or thoughts. So yeah. And I think in said email that I sent to everyone, I put in the body my proposed changes.
Oh, okay.
So.
It's just changed to the GPA requirement and like you can be an officer, right? Or an elected
Yes.
officer.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's just changing from 225 as like a cumulative GPA, not a semester GPA. I remember seeing that was stricken.
So it's cleaning up language so that if you had a 2.1 GPA in the semester, but your cumulative was still a 2.25.
Right.
It's cleaning up language so that that individual would not be eligible to return because there's the quote-unquote loophole that because that person's cumulative is still above the threshold, they can be appointed back in spring semester. So that's what the language is doing. It's not changing the number requirement, it's changing the way that it is written to get rid of that kind of odd clause. Does that make sense?
So it's not dependent on the semester GPA.
It's
Or it is.
strengthening the language so that it is,
Okay.
it says both.
Okay.
Because both have to be true,
Okay.
not one or the other.
I see.
Both must be true. If, then this.
Yeah.
Then this.
Right.
Else if.
Is Senate having a special guest on Monday or is it? I think
Yes.
it's still okay.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Would you like to elaborate on that?
I mean, I could. So last night I went with Brenda and a handful of other students for the walking / bus tour for the lights on campus. It was kind of lit. The
Oh, Tanya! Tanya, how did
the bus was, but that was it. No, kidding. Sorry. It was just a lot of pointing out the lighting on campus, and like it gave me a better understanding of like the cost efficiency of all of it because like from the area where the lights like kind of stop on Walker just to like come back over towards the admin circle. To replace those with like the new standard lighting would be about $300,000 just for that space. However, there's also going to be updates for by mid next week for like those that are like just like broken lights that need to be out and like kind of what the plan moving forward is. And then Dr. Lebowski wants to be at Senate next week. So yeah, there's that.
That is spicy.
All right. Are there any other announcements? If not, I recognize that I am here, Zane is here, Carly is here, Sky is here, Christine is here, Kunal is here, Connie's here. Why did I skip Tanya? I don't know why.
Yeah, why did you do that?
I don't know why. Also,
I'm not going to psychoanalyze that at all.
and Candace is both here, as well as the Honorable President.
Colin.
Colin. Meeting adjourned.